Welcome to Armchair Expert, Experts on Expert. I'm Dax Shepard. I'm joined by Monica Mouse.
Hi.
Hi. Our favorites here for a third time.
Three-peat.
Gosh, it's so wonderful to get to talk to this gentleman almost annually now.
Yeah.
Yuval Noah Harari. Yuval Noah Harari is a historian, a philosopher, and best-selling author. His book, Sapiens, is just the most ginormous book worldwide you can imagine on a topic that no one could have guessed would have been interesting to the world at large.
He made it interesting.
He sure did. So Sapiens is fantastic. Homo Deus is my preferred of the two books. 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. And he has a new book that's based on Sapiens, and it's for kids. It's called Unstoppable Us, Volume 1, How Humans Took Over the World. It is fantastic. Cannot wait to read this book to my girls.
Yeah. It's just like selling out.
It's already sold out?
So get it now.
Get it now. Get Unstoppable Us. If you know someone with kids in Christmas here, like this is an awesome book to get families.
That's a great idea.
Please enjoy Yuval Noah Harari. We get support from Quince.
So we've been talking about Quince a lot lately, and as we head into fall, it's the perfect time to reset your wardrobe with their amazing pieces. I think it's so fun to do when the seasons turn over to just spruce up your wardrobe with a couple specials, and Quince is the place.
Totally. We're talking organic cotton, Mongolian cashmere, tailored chinos from just $60. Premium fit and quality you'd expect from a luxury brand designer. I love Quince. You know, I like it understated and subtle, and I like stuff that has high quality. And Quince checks all those boxes.
I love a lot of stuff from Quince. Honestly, they have incredible premium denim, which is very important for fall. It's pretty much all I wear in the fall is denim. And Quince has such a good selection of quality denim. Their stuff is so versatile, timeless, and built to last that you just grab every single day without thinking.
Right. And all of that for 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They go direct to ethical factories, cut out the middlemen, so you get all that quality without overpaying for it.
We love that. And they do way more than clothes. They have bedding, cookware, bath essentials, travel must-haves, same deal, and great quality.
Upgrade your everyday. Download the Quince app for app-exclusive offers or go to quince.com/Dax. Get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/Dax. We get support from Apple Gift Card. Back to school is here, and for many, that means some big life transitions. Whether they are heading into a new grade or setting up a dorm for the first time, you want to give them something that actually supports their growth and success. Apple Gift Card is a versatile solution because it takes the guesswork out of gifting. It's not just about a new pair of AirPods for focus. It's about giving them the invaluable chance to choose the digital tools and subscriptions that suit their unique journey. They can use it for productivity apps on the App Store, movie nights on Apple TV, or extra iCloud storage for all those new memories. With Apple Gift Card, it's so empowering to give the students their freedom to allocate their own resources. Celebrate their new academic chapter. Visit applegiftcard.apple.com to celebrate their milestones and gift one today.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
Do we need the ear thing?
You do not.
You don't have to. We
Because
like
it's
it.
easier to kind of hear myself.
We're not here to control you, Yuval.
So why do you put them on?
It becomes a silo.
Really? Let's try.
Yeah, can I make my argument to you now that you have them on?
Yes.
Okay, so two things. I think our natural inclination would be to talk louder to each other than we need to because we're 12 feet apart. That sounds crazy when you're listening in your car. There's no need to shout. Number two, it isolates all the other auditory distractions and puts me in a very tunnel vision connection to your brain.
But don't you find that your own voice sounds funny?
We're used to it, I think, unfortunately.
I think an actor has to get over that pretty early. So yeah, maybe 20 years ago when I first heard myself, I was like, ooh, that's not what I was expecting. But I think it's now, they've married. My internal voice that I think I have and this one have now fused.
Okay.
But your voice still distracts you?
It sounds a bit strange to me. I'm not used to it. I give so many interviews, but I don't like to listen to myself afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, so healthy of you.
I don't know if it's healthy, but
Could you add some adjectives to when you hear your own voice? What adjectives would we attach to how it sounds for you?
it just sounds different than I'm used to kind of hearing myself.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes me much more self-conscious
Okay.
about the way I talk.
This is common. I don't want you to feel like you're an outlier. No one likes the sound of their voice for the most part.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just I don't sound like that. I mean,
Yeah, that's not me.
Okay, so this may be a real comment on our different levels of egomaniacalness, right? So I hear mine on this thing and I think, oh, I sound a little smarter than I'm afraid I am.
Huh.
Like, I feel like it ups my importance by hearing it amplified or in this form.
For me, really, it's just the kind of extra level of self-consciousness
Yes.
that kind of a little distracts me from what I want to say, but it's fine.
And what quality do you most appreciate from your meditation work? Is it the dissolving of the ego, the self-consciousness, the self-awareness?
It's strange because somebody just asked me yesterday at dinner about dissolving of the ego. I never got my ego dissolved.
Still healthy.
People talk about it,
Yeah.
but maybe they don't really understand, or maybe they have different experiences in meditation than me.
Yeah.
But this is such a kind of extremely deep meditation. My purpose in meditation is basically just to get to know myself better, to understand how my mind works, how my body works. The more you understand yourself, it changes how you behave, how you think. But at least for me, it doesn't just dissolve the ego or who I am.
What if we rephrased it? Like, do you find when you're in a kind of deep meditative state that the tethers by which you define your identity are severed a bit?
Yes, I mean, what happens is that I become much more aware of the stories that my mind keeps generating about everything in the world, including or especially about myself.
Yes.
And most of the time, you just get caught up in the stories that the mind produces. We live our whole life trapped inside the stories that our mind creates. And in meditation, you get some kind of distance from it, and you see the process of how you create these stories and then fall victim to them.
Yeah.
And you can, in a way, just observe what's happening. This is not the truth. This is not the world. This is not me. This is just a story that my mind has created. And this kind of liberates you to some extent from these narratives. In my work as a historian, I basically try to do exactly the same thing. That just as individual humans get caught up in the stories they invent about themselves, this happens to entire nations, to entire religions, societies. They invent some fictional story, think it is the truth, and then start fighting all the other nations or whatever about this fantasy in their mind.
Do you think it also frees up some capacity? Because I think the story in itself might not even be the problem. So I might say, I'm a victim of X, Y, or Z. Or I always have bad luck when I go. I can't find a parking spot. Whatever my observation about myself is.
Yeah.
That little moment, the kernels really doesn't take up much time. I never find good parking spots. Now, my day-to-day is spent confirming the story I created however many months ago or years ago. That's the actual time suck of it, is confirming that the story I came up with a while ago is in fact true. So every time I pull up to a store and there's no spot, I file it in my database of proof that this story is correct. And of course, I can't even see the open parking spots because it's in opposition to the story I want to believe in. So I almost feel like the story is a little benign.
Just thinking it once, that's fine. But when you think it again and again and again, then this changes again how you think, how you behave. And, you mentioned like feeling that you're a victim. We see it on a global level, that now in the world you have this kind of competition of victimhood, when almost every group of people, some with better justification, some with much worse justification, tell their story as a story of victimhood, which I think is psychologically and also politically harmful and destructive. One of the reasons that attract people to narratives of victimhood is that it relieves you of responsibility. It relieves you of responsibility for the problems in your life or for the problem in the world. Like, I didn't cause this. I'm a victim of the system. And also relieves you of the responsibility to do something about it. You think even about climate change, So if you think that we are victims of the system, we didn't cause it, and it's not our job to fix it. And if everybody in the world thinks like that, then nobody takes responsibility.
We're going to be wearing shorts in December.
Yeah, and some groups obviously have a good reason. But you see, even the most powerful countries in the world tell themselves this story of victimhood, like you see Russia telling itself that we are the victims. Everybody is against us. Everybody wants to invade us, so we must invade them.
Yes.
And this is just a fantasy in their minds, or in the mind of just one person, just, Putin. And you see how a fantasy, a fictional story that is generated in the mind of a person, if it gets repeated again and again and again and spreads, it can eventually cause millions to lose their homes and to flee, and, terrible tragedy.
It transfers from an idea to like a law of physics. It's got a permanence. It's the reality of the Russian experience. It's the reality of, you name it, the experience.
Yeah.
I also think the competition for victimhood is ego as well, because it's all this bad stuff happened to me, but I'm still breathing or thriving, or look how much I've accomplished despite
They
all
want
of
both
this
things,
stuff.
like some heroicism and some victimhood. Yeah, that's a great observation. I was going to correlate it with narcissism as I understand it. So I know a narcissist, a therapist helped me understand this narcissist will never, ever, ever make an apology.
Yeah.
Like, you can know that right now, that don't ever have that expectation. They're incapable of apologizing. And this person who I've seen create enormous wreckage, even in the face of the proof, right? There's another layer. But I had no choice but to create that wreckage because of X, Y, and Z. So I do think the victimhood is pretty tightly related to narcissism as well.
Absolutely. Again, coming back to the Putin example, the whole world knows that he had made a terrible, terrible mistake. Not just, ethically in terms of the suffering he inflicted on millions of people, also just in cold political terms, he made one of the biggest errors of judgment in politics and in military affairs for generations. And he's incapable of saying, I made a mistake.
Yes.
He just blames it on others and demands even more power for himself. This is the basic danger with every dictatorship. Dictators, sometimes they make good decisions, so people follow them. But the problem is that nobody is perfect. Eventually they make a mistake, and they are inherently incapable of admitting that they made a mistake. And there is nobody else in the country, there is no free press, there is no opposition parties, there is nobody that can tell them, hey, you made a mistake, you need to move aside and let somebody else try something else.
Yeah, you shit the bed on this one. Do you have that expression in Israel? Yeah, well, that's why my prediction for Putin is there'll be a suicide. If he's not assassinated by an oligarch who cannot afford
They
to
never
live.
commit suicide. Unless...
No, Hitler committed suicide.
When the Russians were like 5 blocks away from his hiding place, they commit suicide only really when there is no other choice.
I think there's a moment, I think this happened for Epstein, I think it's happened for a lot of these people, when the force field around them that fails to acknowledge that it's their fault, the moment it becomes obvious, oh, I'm out of moves, I'm out of stories, next step is I will be publicly recognized. Death is a better option than that for
But
those
when
people.
that person has their finger on nuclear weapons, we don't want to be in that situation. Because it can be not just suicide, it could be you kill everybody and commit suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the
Murder-suicide.
Exactly, the horrible father who kills everyone.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay.
Like killing your children and then killing yourself.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, but let's give a ray of hope, because I agree with you that given the chance, that is maybe a route he would pursue. But my ray of hope there is we've had some trial runs of this. We had some guys on a nuclear submarine who basically didn't. They had all the reasons and were given the orders to go ahead and launch a nuclear weapon. I remain a little optimistic that people aren't going to follow that directive.
I hope so, yeah.
Because they themselves know that when they hit the button, they are killing themselves. And they're not Putin. They're not egomaniacal narcissists who can't, I hope. Can we maybe have some optimism that is also on the table?
Yeah, so far we had nuclear weapons for like 70 years. And after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they were never used again in conflict.
Despite a couple of real close calls.
Yeah, the danger is always there. And the optimistic thing that I can say is that the last few decades have been more peaceful than almost any other period in human history. Now, I come from the Middle East. I know perfectly well there are still conflicts around. But this idea that some people have, that there is a constant level of violence in the world, and no matter what we do, there is always the same amount of violence, this is just not true. And it's a dangerous thought because it means that there is no point in making an effort.
Yeah.
And as a historian, one of the most important lessons of history is that there is no constant level of violence in the world. You know, when you go back to the Stone Age, and the book I just published is focused on the Stone Age, so this is one of the main themes there, that actually people have all these, again, fantasies about the Stone Age, that everybody were these, big hunters and warriors and went around all the time fighting. Actually, the first evidence we have, real evidence, not a fantasy in the mind, actual evidence for large-scale conflict between human beings is just from 13,000 years ago, 13, from a place in the Nile Valley, today in Sudan. We have evidence before that for hunting, of course, and also for individual people being killed by weapons, so maybe murder or something. But for actual conflict between groups, there is zero evidence. This is something that is very important to understand because lots of people have this idea that war is just part of human nature. And it isn't. It's a choice.
So that sounds a little contradictory. I just think we should really point out what you're actually saying. So this pervasive notion that we're just a warring people and that there's a given percentage of folks who will suffer on planet Earth and starve on planet Earth, all these things, that's bullshit as compared to 300 years ago, 200 years ago, 100 years ago.
Yeah.
But then predating that is even an example of almost zero warfare.
We are not sure if there was or wasn't. We just don't have evidence.
No evidence.
It doesn't prove that there was no war like
Right.
50,000 years ago.
Anthropologists believe there's like tribal to tribal. There's stealing of women. There's small 100-on-100 conflicts probably happening, no?
We have evidence from anthropology for this happening in the last few centuries or so, but we have no kind of smoking gun that somebody can point out, here is an archaeological site from 40,000 years ago. You have an entire band of hunter-gatherers being massacred. We don't have anything like that. So it's important to realize it because all these people who talk about human nature, you can't put it on nature. If you think that war is part of human nature, then in a way this excuses people like Putin. Putin is not to blame for this war. It's human nature. If it wasn't him, it would have been somebody else.
And if it's human nature and it's inevitable, then one should just win.
Exactly.
Yeah, you kind of have a moral compass for that. And we employ it. Like, well, there's going to be some conflict, so we had better win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can only choose your only choice. Do you want to be the prey or the predator?
Yes.
And then
yes,
everybody
yes.
says, okay, if that's the choice, I'll be the predator. But
Yeah.
this is a false moral choice. There are always more options. Almost always, especially in politics, when people tell you you have only two choices, they are tricking you. They are placing you in a false dilemma. Like Putin saying, well, there are just two choices. Either the Ukrainians do whatever I want, or I invade them.
Right.
And then when he invades them, he has this kind of spiel that it wasn't my fault. I mean, they refused my demands. What do you want from me? They are to blame.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And this is just a wrong way of framing it. It's like the hostage situation with terrorists. You capture somebody and you say, okay, either you give me, $1 billion or I kill them. And then you don't give them the $1 billion and he
now
kills
you're
them.
a murderer.
And now you're at fault.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
I mean,
yes,
you
yes.
forced me to pull the trigger. And it's not true. The fact that I did not give you $1 billion did not force you to kill these people. It was still your choice. So we should never fall into this trap of allowing the terrorists or the warmongers or whatever to frame the situation in such a way that there are only two options and you chose this, so you're to blame for everything that
To
happened.
transfer responsibility.
Exactly.
Yes, you don't watch TV, do you?
I watch a lot of TV.
Oh, wonderful. Have you watched the 4-part documentary on HBO about the Iranian hostage?
Actually, we tend
crisis?
to watch kind of fiction.
Oh, okay, fun
Comedies.
stuff.
Rick and Morty, Game
wonderful.
of Thrones,
Yes.
these kinds of things.
Okay.
I mean, documentary, most of what I do all day is read history books.
I hear you.
So when I go in the evening with my husband to watch some TV, it probably won't be a documentary.
I got you.
You want an escape.
You want total
get
freedom from
that.
the day.
In a way.
Okay, it's a great one, but it is crazy. You know, they had those hostages for 444
Yeah.
days. And the way the narrative just evolves and evolves and evolves until a point where, yes, you're in a position where we're killing these people. The Americans are killing these 60 people. Not the captors of them, But us, there's a judo that happens in the framing of that situation that transfers responsibility entirely to the victim.
And that is so dangerous. We should always resist it when people are trying with this trick of kind of blaming somebody else for what is actually their choice. You have in philosophy these kinds of trolley problems,
Oh, yes.
I mean, there is a trolley, it's about to run over this one person, but you can push the switch and it will instead kill these other 5 people or whatever.
I think it's the reverse of that.
It is the
it's
reverse.
heading towards 5 people. You
Yes.
can, redirect
Yes.
it to one person.
And the most important thing to know about the trolley problems, they almost never happen in real life. That's the most important thing to realize about them.
Yeah.
Philosophers had to work very, very hard to invent the trolley problems because there are no real trolley problems in real life. Whenever in real life somebody puts you this kind of choice, know that they are pulling you into a trap.
Oh, this is great. And this is actually part of your book. So don't you think that one of our great gifts as Homo sapiens is our ability to create both models and analogies? Like analogies are enormously effective. And then also we're the victim of analogies.
Absolutely. This superpower, this ability to impose a fantasy on reality, and then people just don't see the reality. They just see the fantasy. I look at the conflict in my country, in Israel, between Jews and Arabs. And people think that, it's just human nature, or not just human nature, it's just nature. I mean, you look at all these chimpanzees and wolves and lions, they all the time fight about territory, so we also fight about territory. And what people don't realize, they don't fight about territory. They fight about fantasies in their minds. Because, the chimpanzees, when they fight about land, this is really an objective problem they have. There is not enough food. So they need to fight over these fruit trees because whoever loses them dies from starvation. Now, you look at the Middle East, you look at my country, there is enough land for everybody. There is enough food for everybody. There is no objective shortage of food. But they have conflicting stories in their minds. You have one group of people saying, God gave this place to me. And the other says, no, God gave this place to us.
Right.
And this is what they fight about. It's just in their mind.
Biblical real estate claims are always hard to, even when you get them in the court of law, boy, they're hard to.
I mean, we
iron
talk
out.
about this a fair amount because we talk about how we have been tribal for so long. So we're wired to be tribal and we're wired to say you over there and me over here and us them, and forgetting we can decide for that to not be true. That choice has evolved.
We have a lot of choice there.
Yeah.
Again, it's people equate, for instance, modern nations with ancient tribes. And this is a fundamental
Exactly.
mistake. Because the thing about really ancient tribes, like you go back to the Stone Age, the group of people is made of a very small number of people who actually know each other. The basis for the group is personal acquaintance. Like, I know you, I know your personality, we are maybe related, we went together to hunt a mammoth and
Right.
you saved my life. The amazing thing about modern groups, like big nations, is that 99.99% of the people, you never met them in your life.
Yeah.
They are not your relatives. You don't know their personality. Even in a small country like Israel, we have like 9 million citizens. I know like 200 people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All these others, they are actually strangers to me. But the magic of nationalism and the good side of nationalism is that it makes me feel that these strangers that I never met in my life are nevertheless my friends and family in some way. So I care about them. So for instance, I pay my taxes so that some stranger on the other side of the country would get basic health care.
Right.
And this is the good side of nationalism. Sometimes, again, people twist it and think that nationalism is about hating other people.
Right.
I can avoid paying my taxes, but as long as I hate foreigners, I'm a great patriot.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is a complete misunderstanding.
You got some options, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how do you define who are we and what does it mean to be part of us? This is not nature. This is our choice. So I would say, yes, nations are very important, provided we define them in terms of love. Like, I love the other people in my nation, so I pay my taxes so they are not dying from illnesses, and not defining them in terms of hate. I'm a great American patriot because I hate all these other groups.
To prevent it from steering into zero sum. So I love these countrymen of mine and I want the best for them. everyone else is a threat to that because there's zero-sum resources.
And it's not true,
Yes, it's
because
not
very
true.
often to take care of your countrymen and countrywomen, you have to cooperate with foreigners.
And benefit many other people who then
Yeah.
in turn benefit you.
Think about climate change. No country can solve climate change by itself. So if several countries cooperate on this, this is not being disloyal to your nation. This is not treason or something. You're actually trying to help the people in your nation by cooperating with these other nations. Similarly, if you have a pandemic, the best way to stop a pandemic is to cooperate in advance with other countries to share medical information, to share medical resources. If every country needs to do it by itself, it's much, much more difficult.
Yeah, near impossible. Okay, your book is incredible. I love it. I'm going to immediately be rereading it with my kids. So just say I'm so excited by this book. But before that, we had Jared Diamond on the other day.
Yeah, he's great.
Oh, what a guy. And of
he's
course, you
such a
came
great
up
guy.
a lot. I think it's flattering to him that you cite him.
Because he really was my model. I mean, I read his book, and this is what made me realize, hey, you can actually write like that, like these big narratives about the whole of human history, and still do it in a scientific and academic way.
Yes, and also literary, like an appealing story, not this discovery, then this discovery, and so on. Okay, so your book, Unstoppable Us, Volume 1, How Humans Took Over the World, is for children.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be fun to first find out why you decided that children need the message of Sapiens. But I will say there's more in this book, weirdly, than just in Sapiens. But in general, we could say it's doing what Sapiens did, but for children.
Yes.
One of the great things I heard you say already is why it's easier to explain story, myth, money, nationalism to children than it is 50-year-olds.
Yeah, because they haven't heard the story so many times before, so they come kind of much more fresh to it. Like you want to explain money to a 50-year-old, and your whole life sometimes revolves around money. It's very, very difficult to change what we already believe about it. And you come to 10-year-olds, and what is money? Money is basically a fairy tale for adults. It's not something objective in the world.
Yeah.
You look at these pieces of paper, and most of the money today in the world is not even paper. It's just electronic data moving between computers.
Yeah, you can't eat it, you can't drink it, you can't have sex with it.
Nothing.
What intrinsic value, right?
It has no intrinsic value whatsoever. It has value just because some people come and tell stories about it, and everybody believes the stories, and it works. 50,000 years ago, you had the tribal shaman tell you stories about spirits and ghosts, and everybody believed the story. Now we have these much more sophisticated storytellers. We have the lawyers and we have the bankers, and they come and they tell us a story that this piece of paper is worth like 10 bananas. And if everybody believes the story, it works. I can actually go to the supermarket, give this colorful piece of paper to a stranger I never met before, and they give me bananas in exchange.
Well, and think about how much world attention right now is being focused on this piece of paper is losing 6% of its value this year.
Inflation is literally when people told you an inflated story. They told you it was worth 10 bananas. It's actually worth just 8 bananas.
Yes, the story itself is under threat right now, and it's
Exactly.
every headline.
Because if we completely lose our faith in the story, the whole of society collapses.
Yeah.
It happened several times in history
Ooh,
when
tell me.
people just lost their faith in the currency of their country. Like in Germany in the 1920s.
Oh, sure.
You have all these images of people going with entire
Wheelbarrows.
sacks, wheelbarrows, with banknotes to buy a piece of bread.
Yeah.
This is what led eventually to the rise of Nazism, that a complete loss of faith.
Those damn war reparations.
Yeah. So explaining this to kids, that money is just people believe in ghosts and spirits, so it's the same thing for adults. The amazing thing about it, that it actually works. That as long as everybody believes in the story, you have the modern economy functioning.
You don't have children, to my knowledge.
No.
If you are a parent, you get to experience this real time, which is it's almost impossible to talk to an adult that money's not real. I've had this debate. When it comes up, well, but it's not because it's blank X, Y, and Z. It's actually incredibly hard to explain to the kid that the piece of paper you hand the person at Target is worth all the merchandise they just handed you, right? Like, that's the hurdle.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost impossible for a while. You're like, I know. Well, this thing is worth all that stuff we just bought. Our stories are preposterous to kids, and you get to see it real time. Santa Claus, right? We went down that road. I had experienced Christmas, seemed really fun. We started it, and then right out of the gates with my daughter. Well, hold on. He goes to everyone's place, and he comes on the chimney. What if you don't have a chimney? I'm like, okay, fuck. Now I got to account for all the apartments in LA. So then I got to spin a line, right? And then that didn't feel right to them. And it just goes on and on and on. And you realize the story is insane. It takes so much effort to get them on board with the story. After like the fifth lie, I was like, okay, I can't do this. You're right. That's the good part of your brain. This whole thing doesn't make sense. There's no Santa Claus. I'm doing it, but it's fun to think about it. It was begetting too many other lies, right?
But then you have the story that actually run the world. It's not
Yeah.
Santa Claus. It's things like corporations. I mean, you have all these books to kids about animals, like elephants and lions and whales, which are very important. But, you know, kids don't go in the street and meet an elephant most of the day. But they meet corporations every day. Like every day they meet Google and Facebook and TikTok, and they meet McDonald's and Disney and so forth. And they need to understand what are these things and how to beware of them, how to make friends with them sometimes, but how to be careful about them, because these are dangerous things corporations could be. So this is part of the rationale of the book. It's not just about the Stone Age. It's also about things like explaining what is a corporation to kids, which again goes back to the issues that we talked about earlier of responsibility. Like corporations are the way for adults sometimes to avoid responsibility. Who is polluting the atmosphere? It's not me, it's the corporation that is doing it. So don't talk to me, talk to the lawyers that represent the corporation. Now imagine a kid trying to do the same thing, like he or she walks into the living room with muddy shoes all over the floor. And when the parent comes and says, hey, who left all these muddy footprints on the floor? And the kid goes, it wasn't me, it was the corporation. Just talk with my lawyers.
This is why I'm so excited to read to my kids is you're doing the thing that I think is most important, which is it's really easy for us to just take what we're given, the burden we inherit, as intrinsic, as given, as unavoidable, as the way it is, period. And I think your book, and if I can just read something you said, the world in which we live didn't have to be the way it is. People made it what it is, and people can change it. Like just starting the premise with, hey, this just happens to be where we find ourselves, and there's a total explanation for it. And then in understanding it, we might also decide where we want to go.
I know, I look at now at images coming from Iran. So you have these teenage girls that have been told all their life, you must wear the hijab, and you must do this, and you must do that. And they come and say, why?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so this is how you behaved in the last 30 or 40 years, but I don't want to do it. That's the kind of magic. That moment when you realize, yes, this is the world we now live in, but it doesn't have to be like that. We reached this point because of some previous events and choices that people made, but we can now make different choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically you start with saying, hey, check this out. We humans, this species, took over the entire world. So how did that happen? And then you start from the very beginning. We start 6 million years ago when the common relative existed, and then we pick up at 2.5 million years ago with the first hominid, and then you just start painting a picture for kids.
Yeah, how it's like to live in the Stone Age, that you don't go to school, instead you go to the forest, you learn to climb trees, you learn how to find fruits and mushrooms and fish and so forth. If you're a kid today and you sometimes feel like, hey, I don't want to go to school, I want to go to the forest and climb trees, this is actually a memory. Part of your body, part of your mind kind of remembers how it was 100,000 years ago and misses it. So it's the same thing like when I was a kid, I would wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, afraid that there is a monster under the bed, and I would call my mom. This is also actually a historical memory, because when we lived in the forest, there were actually monsters in the night that came to eat children. So a lion would come or a cheetah would come, and if you go on sleeping, they eat you. And if you wake up frightened and call your mom, there is a lion under the bed, then maybe you're saved.
Yeah. And I think, too, We're born into a world we have total mastery over, so we can sometimes forget how completely vulnerable we are in the real world. And you do a great job of laying it out for the little kids in that in the Stone Age, we can't run fast, we're not strong, we don't have huge canines, we don't have claws. We have to run from everything. And if we want to enjoy any of the carcass of the giraffe that's been killed by the lion, what's going to have to happen? We're last ones in.
We're in the last in the queue. The first humans, they were so weak, they couldn't kill a giraffe. It's such a huge animal. But maybe a lion kills a giraffe, and you wait on the sidelines, waiting for the lion to finish and go away.
And he looks full. I think we're almost up.
Yeah. But even then, you can't go. You can't come to the carcass because there are other animals in front of you in the line. Like you have the hyenas. And then you don't want to mess with the hyenas. If you ever seen a hyena on television or in a zoo, this is not the kind of animal that as a human being you want to mess with.
You always see them relative to lions. They don't do any shows about just hyenas, right? We only care about them in relation
because
to lions.
they often hang together because, the hyenas are smart. I mean, they say, why should we go to the effort of actually bringing down a giraffe? Dangerous and difficult. We let the lion do it, and then we come.
Okay, so in real life, hyenas are fucking enormous. They're
Yes.
180 pounds. We don't have dogs that big. A
No.
mastiff is 140. These things are like the most enormous mastiff you've ever seen. We see them in real life, you go, oh my God, when they're not sitting next to a lion, they're terrifying.
Yeah. So again, if you go back hundreds of thousands of years and you have a lion killing a giraffe, you wait in line. And the hyenas come ahead of you, and maybe the jackals come ahead of you, and you come last. And when the first humans, they come to the carcass, nothing is left. All the meat has been eaten. So then comes the first big invention in human history, these stone knives. People imagine that they were used to hunt big animals. They weren't used to hunt big animals. The first stone tools, they are used to crack open bones. Basically, it's the only thing left after all the other animals had their fill. So you have these weak humans kind of sneaking to the carcass, looking around carefully. Maybe one hyena is still there. No, okay, it's safe. And then there is a bone, and you take your stone knife and you crack open the bone and you eat the marrow.
Wow.
Boom, 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 marrow.
I did not know that.
And that's our kind of first claim to fame.
Right.
Wow.
That sets us on a road a little bit.
Yeah, this sets us on the road eventually to the atom bomb.
Yeah.
Oh my God. A couple steps later.
A couple of steps later, boom.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
This episode is brought to you by the new Max original comedy series, Stewart Fails to Save the Universe. From the world and creators of The Big Bang Theory comes a new comedy series. Stuart Bloom, comic book store owner and lovable underdog, accidentally breaks a device built by Sheldon and Leonard and kicks off a full-blown multiverse Armageddon. Now, he's on a mission to put reality back together alongside his girlfriend Denise, a geologist named Bert, and physicist Barry Kripke. Along the way, they're running into alternate universe versions of characters you already know and love. Check out the new Max original comedy series, Stewart Fails to Save the Universe, now streaming exclusively on HBO Max with new episodes Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Subscription required. This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. We've talked before about Rob building our website on Squarespace, and I bring it up again because it's a perfect example of what they do well. Rob had all the pieces, the content, the vision, the ideas, but he needed something to actually take all that and make it public facing. And Squarespace was that bridge. Maybe you're in the same spot. You've been developing something, a business, a skill set, a body of work, and it's been private. It's been yours. But at some point, you're ready to put it out there. And that transition from private to public can feel like a huge leap. Squarespace makes it feel like a step. Beautiful templates, built-in SEO, email campaigns, scheduling, analytics, everything you need to go from I've been working on this to here it is, come find me. All in one place, no code, no stitching together a bunch of different tools. So if you've been sitting on something and waiting for the right moment, this might be it. Head to squarespace.com/DAX for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code DAX to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Back to school starts now. Get long-lasting battery life on the Dell XPS laptop powered by Series 3 Intel Core so you can work from anywhere. Now starting at $699 with exclusive student pricing starting at $599. And it's lightweight, portable, and packed with enough processing power to make multitasking a breeze. So say goodbye to distractions and hello to more free time because you finished your work faster. Complete your setup with savings on select monitors and more must-have electronics and accessories. Limited time deals and free shipping on PCs and more await you at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
We get support from Skims. Oh man, do I love Skims. I've been living in the Skims lightweight cotton collection all summer, and I have to tell you, getting dressed has become so easy. I just throw it on. It just feels right immediately, whether I'm grabbing coffee or I'm on the couch all day or I'm out, even going to dinner. The cotton is so lightweight and breathable, which in this heat is a non-negotiable. The cotton jersey t-shirt, I just need everyone to know about this one. This one hugs in all the right places. It's very soft and it still looks and fits the same after months of washing, which is very hard to do, I feel, with t-shirts. I've been wearing the black cotton jersey t-shirt with basically everything all summer long. It goes great with any patterned skirt or shorts or pants. I mean, anything truly. I believe that's probably my favorite piece from the cotton collection, but they also have great lightweight cotton thongs that are so comfortable and they're cute. That is a very, very hard mix to achieve, especially with undergarments. I feel if you can find some that are cute, but also comfortable and do the job, that is a win. And Skims has really, really figured that out with the lightweight cotton collection. Shop Skims cotton and all of my favorite pieces at skims.com. After you place your order, be sure to let them know we sent you. Select podcast in the survey and be sure to select Armchair Expert in the drop-down menu that follows.
The next big thing is fire.
The power of every other animal depends on its body, how big you are, how fast you can run, your wings, whatever. And fire is the first time that an animal, a human being, managed to gain control of a source of power outside its body. You know, if I'm a human being and I know how to control fire, even though I'm not as big as a lion, I can't run like a cheetah, I don't have claws, I don't have poison like a snake, whatever. I have this friend, fire, and a single human with a fire stick can burn down an entire forest. With all the lions and hyenas and giraffes in it.
And you point out all animals are terrified of fire.
Such a powerful force. And again, humans, what was amazing about them, they learned how to befriend fire. So how did it happen? We don't know for sure. But again, something that still happens today, lots of people, lots of kids, they like watching fire.
Yeah,
I mean, did it ever happen to you?
We loved it.
Fire.
He
I'm
is
a
a fire
pyromaniac.
pit.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you sit like you go outside, you light a fire with some wood and whatever, and you just sit there and you watch the fire.
Stare
Talk
at
about magic you can observe. I understand the chemical reaction. Doesn't fucking matter. I'm looking at flames. Are like, what are those things?
it's-
Why are they dancing? Who's controlling it? What is that thing?
But the thing is, you're not afraid of it.
No.
You're
Yeah.
fascinated by it.
No, you wanna
and
interact.
This is a memory from like hundreds of thousands of years ago. Then you have, I don't know, a lightning strikes a tree and there is a fire. All the other animals run away except humans.
the hillbillies.
Yeah.
We come in. We come in.
We
What's
come
this?
in.
Hey, look at this.
Exactly. And we sit and watch this thing.
Yeah.
And this is how we learn to befriend it. For instance, we learn, hey, you can take a stick, place it inside the kind of flaming tree. One side of the stick is burning, but you can hold on to the other side and you take it away and you now have fire on a stick. And you can now use this stick fire to drive away the lions and the hyenas or to burn down forests.
Think about it. It's a lightsaber. Like
Well,
we take it
and
for
then-
granted. It is
yeah.
like the ultimate weapon if
Well,
you're defenseless.
And then a couple steps later, we have AK-47s.
Yes.
That's where that comes from.
And there is another connection there because one thing that fire did was transform our brain, actually. So we could invent things like AK-47s.
Yeah.
Because before fire, much of the energy of the human body it went to digesting food. Like you eat raw food and you have to spend
marrow.
the marrow and the fruits and whatever, and you have to spend a lot of time chewing it and then a lot of time digesting it.
The great thing he points out to the children reading the book is next time someone in your house is cutting up a potato to prepare in the oven, ask for a little bite of it or a lick first. It opened up an entirely different world of things we could even consume. There's so many things we can't actually eat unless they're cooked.
Absolutely.
Right.
And also, again, it takes much less time, much less effort, because it's like outsourcing. Like we today outsource, production to another country. So fire is like outsourcing the difficult job of digesting food from our stomach to an outside fireplace.
Yeah.
And then this saves so much energy. And where does this energy go? To the brain.
Boom.
Interesting.
The stomach gets smaller, the brain gets
who
bigger.
figured it out, though, that if I put some food near the fire, this is crazy.
I've heard theories. Go ahead, hit me with a theory.
We don't know for sure, but it's probably trial and error. Like you burn the forest
Yeah.
and there is a charcoal giraffe there.
And fuck, is it
And
delicious.
and you come close and you say, well, it's been burned, but maybe I can still find something there to eat. And you
Yeah.
try and it's good, it's nice.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, so what a revolution. By the way, these are such simple things, and there's these beautiful illustrations throughout the book by Richard Ruiz. Oh, side note, total sidebar. Do you know Noah is the #1 most popular name right now in America for children? We learned it 2 weeks
we
ago.
did.
What do you think of that?
I think it's scary because my connotation is the flood is coming.
We need a lot of Noahs.
We need a lot of Noahs. So the flood is coming.
A lot of boat builders. Yeah, but there's these beautiful illustrations. They're really reminiscent of the books I read when I was a kid. And in fact, your life was really, really altered by a book you read when you were a little kid that is of this nature called The History of Mankind or Humankind. What was it?
Yeah, it was a big book with lots of pictures about the history of humankind for children. I still have it. It has my first kind of attempt to write because I tried to copy some part of the book and it's all kind of messed up, but it's there.
You encourage kids to write all over this book if they
If
own
the
it.
book is yours, definitely write on it.
Yeah, I love that.
I think it's engagement. If it belongs to the library, then don't.
Right.
But if it's your book and you want to write on it, yes.
Right. So what was the approach of that book?
The amazing thing about it was scientific. I grew up again in Israel, and even though I come from a secular family, so still religion is everywhere.
Yeah.
And you go to school or you go even to kindergarten, and you have all these stories about Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden and Noah's flood, and this is where we came from. And then I got this book. There was no Adam and Eve and no Garden of Eden. Instead, there were Neanderthals, and there was the Stone Age, and there was human evolution, and it kind of blew my mind.
Yeah. Great. So what I think is cool about this book is it takes that, which I too received that. I had the great National Geographic books my grandma got me. But then there's no weaving of that scientific background of our evolution into the outcomes of these abilities we had, or how they transformed and became our culture. That part to me was missing of those books. It didn't connect my present to the past. And I think that's what this book does a great job of. So we just blew Monica's mind with fire. That was 1.5 million years ago, right? And then we go to you letting our children know, which is good. It's ego bursting. So, hey, just like there's a lot of different bears, and there's bears all over the planet, and they're all different species, guess what? There were a bunch of different humans at one time all over the planet. This one that you're talking about discovering fire, obviously, isn't ultimately Homo sapiens sapien.
Yeah, it's
This
an earlier
is
species.
Australopithecine afarensis or whatever. And then it evolves. And at one time, we have a bunch of different hominids.
Yeah, at least 5 or 6.
Okay,
Wow.
one
At
blue.
the same time.
At the same time. Now we have different bears in the world. You have grizzly bears and polar bears and black bears and whatever. So one time there are different human species, even in the same place. You can go to the same place. In one cave, there are Homo sapiens. In another cave, you find remains of Neanderthals or Homo denisova.
That to me is a very exciting moment. I paused the book. I would love to meet, is it Flores?
Floresiensis, the little people.
Okay, tell Monica about the Flores. I want to hang out with these so bad.
So there is an island in Indonesia called Flores, and humans managed to get there about 1 million years ago when the sea level was much lower than it is today. So they could basically walk and then the sea rose again, and they got stuck on the island. It was a small island, not much to eat. So what very often happens on islands, on small islands, to many animals, not just humans, over time they become smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
Foster's Island principle.
Yep.
Birds get bigger, mammals get smaller.
Exactly. Insects and birds, they become huge.
Yeah.
And mammals, they become small. So on Flores, you had not just humans, also elephants becoming very small elephants. And
Pygmy elephants.
yeah, and the small humans would hunt the small elephants.
How adorable.
And everyone's just this big.
The people were 3 feet tall, you say, right?
No, I don't know in American measurements, 1 meter
meter.
tall. Yeah, a meter tall.
Yeah.
25 kilos, more or less. But they had
54
tools
pounds and 3 feet tall with spears.
with spears and fire and everything.
Wow. And how big are the elephants?
The elephant, I'm not sure, but
Oh, there's these like
Like
cows.
dogs?
yeah,
Well, the pygmy woolly mammoths on the Channel Islands, they're the size of like cows.
yeah,
But
so,
with the tusks and the whole thing.
That's so cool.
so there were those. And then you had Neanderthals in much of Europe and West Asia. The small people from Flores, we cannot meet them any longer because it seems that Homo sapiens, when they reached the island, they decimated all of them.
Big size advantage.
Either directly killing them or taking away the food. And this is what happened to most of the other human species on the planet. Our species probably drove most of them to extinction.
Did we just take up all the resources or did we actively murder them or some combination? Of
Probably
resources?
some combination. We are not sure. We don't have enough evidence. But we do know that you see a very clear pattern. 100,000 years ago, you have something like 5 or 6 human species in different parts of the world. Our species, Homo sapiens, lived in Africa at that time. And then Homo sapiens comes out of Africa. And every time our ancestors reach a certain part of the world, the local population of other humans disappears.
Yeah.
So you conclude whatever you want from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But that's the very clear pattern. To some extent, though, they do not completely disappear. There is some level of interbreeding with Homo sapiens. Almost all of us are partly Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Like between 1% and 3% of our genes.
I have a low percentage.
He was upset
I
about
really
it.
wanted a high percentage.
And what's your percentage?
It's minuscule, but they had bigger
From
brains.
23andMe.
Yeah,
That's how
very. I was like fingers crossed. I was hugely Neanderthal, and I just wasn't.
But just imagine the scene that, 50,000 years ago, you have some kid whose mother is a Homo sapiens and whose father is Neanderthal. Talk about mixed marriages.
yeah, exactly. Black
Seriously.
white is nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing. I mean, these
Yeah.
are basically two animals from
It's
different
like
species.
a bear and a donkey.
Yeah. And we are all the offspring, we are all the descendants
Yeah.
of these kinds of unions.
Wow.
Oh my God, it's incredible. The thing that blew my mind about the Flores thing and actually became encouraging, the Flores dwarves of Indonesia. I graduated in 2000. We didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's completely new. Last 10 years.
Wow.
We found out 10 years ago that there were 3 foot tall, 55-pound little spear carrying mini elephant
I
hunters.
think that's my ancestor.
You, you
So
might have a high
small and
percentage
I
of
fight
Flores.
people. Yeah.
They're fierce.
Yeah.
What's so exciting about that to me is, wow, 10 years ago, we thought we knew.
Actually, they just 2 years ago probably discovered another new, old species of small humans we didn't know about in an island in the Philippines.
Wow.
And just like a month ago, they gave the Nobel Prize in medicine to Svante Pääbo, who was the pioneer of this entire field. Because how do we know all that? Not just
Yeah.
from the bones, from being able to extract DNA from the bones
Yeah.
and learn that it's amazing. You can find out what was the DNA of somebody who lived 50,000 years ago. This is how you know that this is with this species and this is another species and so forth. So, we started with taking marrow out of bones like a million years ago, and now we can take DNA out of ancient bones and learn, that there was a family with a Neanderthal father and a sapiens mother 50,000
Yeah, you might
years
find
ago.
both bones in the same site and know that they were living at the same time in the same group.
Yeah, but to know that they actually had a kid together, you need DNA.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't
Right.
find the skeletons in the right position, you probably don't know if they were like a couple, if they were enemies, if they just visited the same cave like a month apart from each other. But when you have the DNA, they actually had kids together.
Yeah.
And what can we attribute the human advancement to? Nutrition, for the most part?
That's the thrust of his book. What is our superpower?
Well, our superpower, nutrition is part of it because it allowed our brains to grow. But ultimately, our superpower is our ability to cooperate in very large numbers, because this is what really makes us more powerful than any other animal. And underlying this, it's the ability to invent and believe fictional stories, like about money. Today, we have 8 billion people cooperating in a trade network that we get our food, our clothes, whatever, from the other side of the world, thanks to money.
It's also the main incentive to not go to war with everyone else. Like, it's such a powerful thing that it's really preventing. Russia thus far is the only one that doesn't seem to give a shit about that. I mean, it's very powerful. But that's the great question. And he teases it out like it's a mystery to the kids. Why did we displace all these other hominids? Why were we victorious? And then now he introduces the central theme of Sapiens, which is that ability to share a fairy tale or a myth.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about Neanderthals, they were a bit bigger than us, probably even had bigger brains than us. On the individual level, they are at least as smart as us. But Neanderthals can cooperate only in small groups of, say, 50 Neanderthals. Homo sapiens has this superpower ability to cooperate in hundreds and thousands. So if it's one sapiens versus one Neanderthal, the Neanderthals have a very good chance. If it's 500 sapiens against 50 Neanderthals, the Neanderthals have no chance.
We're the little people in Gulliver's Travel. You remember that?
I mean,
the little
really?
tiny people roped down Gulliver?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
And of course, cooperation is not just about conflict. If you cooperate with 500 other people, it means that if somebody in a different band discovers a new herb that helps to heal wounds, you also hear about it. If you have drought in your territory and there is nothing to eat, so you can move to the territory of a different band, and because you all believe in the same guardian spirits or whatever, they will accept you as their kin or as their friends. And Neanderthals don't have that.
You can also compartmentalize labor. So there might be something you forage that actually requires so much time to process before you can consume it. That would otherwise be unconsumable unless you have a dedicated group that's just processing this thing that's getting collected.
One band may be living next to a river and they fish salmon and they, dry the salmon and then they exchange it with another group that lives inland. These are the kinds of things that made our species much more powerful than not only any other animal, but also any other human species. And this is still what makes us very powerful. If you think about any big human achievement, like flying to the moon, it's not the achievement of a single individual.
Yeah, Neil Armstrong.
Yeah, all by himself, go to the moon. No,
I'm going to the moon.
Yeah.
You have basically hundreds of thousands of people working to build the spaceship and to prepare the spacesuits. And, even the people who clean the lavatories. They are doing something very important, otherwise they will all die of dysentery before they get to space.
There's a whole industry that's going to create the fuel that it'll burn. It's separate from space exploration. All these different aggregates of technology and workforces coming together.
It's basically community. That's the cheesy way of saying it, I guess. It's like friendship and community is the reason.
Absolutely. This is our superpower. And again, the question is, why are we able to build these huge, huge communities that nobody else can? And the answer, surprisingly, is fictional stories.
Yeah.
And underlying every big community, you always have some fictional story. So it's very clear in the case of religion with mythology. But it's also clear in the case of modern economic systems with things like money and corporations, which are also just fictional stories invented by lawyers and bankers. And again, if everybody believes in it, it works.
Yeah.
Okay, another magic trick of the book is it now weaves in, Monica, all these incredibly complex... I'm selling it to you because he already knows.
I feel weird.
You don't like being in the audience?
No, I love it.
Okay. It weaves in these other concepts that are almost impossible to explain to children, or at least I think most parents are nervous to do. So as we're moving through this story of us starting 2.5 million years ago, he uses Flores, as we kind of just touched on, to introduce what evolution is. So there's limited food on this island. The tinier members of the family are more likely to live because they need less food. The tinier members then have children. The tiniest members of those children will have the biggest chance of also having children. And he lays out evolution for you.
Wow.
And then in learning of how we know these other hominids were different species, he introduces DNA. So he explains DNA to your children, all in an incredibly digestible, simple, holistic view that I think is so thrilling. TBD, to be determined. I do believe after I read this book to my daughters tonight, or begin it tonight, they're going to walk away with like 80 of the concepts that took me going to college to actually
That's the
understand.
problem in school. It's so insular. It's like you learn biology here, and then over there you're learning history. It's so hard to see the big picture and how this connects to that.
Exactly.
Which is what you're doing.
You cannot make sense of history without biology.
Right.
Because humans are animals. The most basic thing to know about humans is that we are animals. And it sounds so banal, but then you have so many people that just deny it. No, we are not animals. We are something completely different. But you can't understand our emotions, our urges, our politics if you don't accept this, very simple thing that we are animals.
And he also compares it to the rest of the world, which I do think children are quite familiar with. As you said, kids know about animals. I mean, that's 80% of the content is kids watching stuff on animals. And so you point out, not only is it unique that we can congregate in groups of hundreds and thousands, unique among hominids, no other animals on the whole planet can do it other than these social insects.
Yeah, it's us and the ants. And the big difference between us and the ants are kind of stuck in just one way of cooperating, of building an ant colony with the queen and the division of labor within the ant population. They can't change their society overnight. It takes basically thousands of generations of evolution for ants to change their society. They can't have a democratic revolution. Hey, let's cut off the head of the queen ant, and let's have a republic of ants. They just can't do it. Humans, we can not just cooperate in very large numbers, we can change the way we cooperate extremely quickly, just by changing the story in which we believe. So one moment we think, hey, we must have a king or a queen because God said that this person should rule over us and we live in a monarchy. And then you have the American Revolution or you have the French Revolution and people say, no, we don't want this story any longer. We now have a different story that we, the people, will decide who is going to be president, and we rebel against the King of England, and we have a completely different system. And again, the amazing thing about the system that is created, that it takes into account the ability to keep changing it. So, you have the US Constitution, and today it's very common, I think rightfully, to point out all the problems that were originally in the US Constitution that, for instance, endorsed slavery, and that many of the people who wrote it, they had slaves. They talk about freedom, they have slaves. But the one really important thing that we should acknowledge is that into the Constitution, they built a mechanism to change it.
Yes.
That's the amazing thing, because this was so rare before in human history. Previously in human history, people felt that, you have the 10 Commandments, it came from God, you can't change it.
Right.
There's an arrogance to think whatever discovery you've just made
Is the final word.
is that we got it.
Yes.
We all want to just clean our hand. We did it. Our Constitution has slowly transferred into the Bible, and it really frustrates me. I think a lot of Americans think because it was so revolutionary and it was so profound and it is so powerful and wonderful and has created a society that was unimaginable 300 years ago, because of all those things, it's perfect. It shouldn't be meddled with. And then they ignore the fact that it was designed to be meddled with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the amazing thing about it, because the 10 Commandments have no way. The Constitution starts with "we the people." The 10 Commandments start with "I am the Lord your God." It's not coming from the people, it's coming from God, and therefore you cannot change it. And the 10 Commandments, just like the US Constitution, also endorse slavery. Look up commandment number 10. It says you should not covet your neighbor's field or house or slaves.
Sure.
Which implies that it's perfectly okay with God to have slaves, so long as you don't covet the slaves of somebody else.
Yeah.
Get your own fucking slaves.
Exactly.
God doesn't want you coveting or stealing other people's slaves.
And the thing is, the US Constitution has been amended less than a century after it was first written down. The 10 Commandments have never been amended. I mean, you don't have, okay, now we got it. It's bad to have slaves. Okay, we will rewrite the 10 Commandments and change. No, you can't do that.
Yeah, there's no 11th commandment that said if 2/3 of you agree that 10 sucks, you can get rid of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Did they set the bar a little too high, do you think? in our Constitution? I'm sure you know enough about it to ask that question. You're too afraid of that question.
No, I don't have the expertise. I'm not
Wait,
an
you
expert
need
on.
to change it?
Yeah, like ours is really, really hard to change, which is in some way great and in some way against the nature of the document.
You need to find a middle path. If it's too easy to change it, and whenever one party is in power, it immediately writes the whole
Exactly.
constitution,
Yeah.
you need something deeper than the kind of usual laws that you pass. If it becomes impossible to change it, then okay, you need to stay away from that extreme also, because the whole magic of the constitution is that it acknowledges its own limitations. You know, beginning of the conversation, we talked about narcissism and the inability of dictators to ever acknowledge a mistake. The amazing thing about the founding fathers is that they had this kind of understanding that, okay, we think it should be like this, but we could be mistaken about it. So let's give our descendants a mechanism to do better than us.
Yeah.
The other irony is so much of this is just a kind of pervasive lack of humility, because when people shed a story, the previous story now becomes absolutely absurd and preposterous, right? Like when I get into arguments with people about a belief in their one God, I don't try to defeat their opinion of that. But in helping them understand how I view their view of God, I simply ask, what do you think about Zeus in Mount Olympus? Like when you think about the Greeks believing in Zeus in Mount Olympus, it sounds really comical to you, right? Just know they're the same to me because I'm outside of both of the stories. So when we leave one, when we transition and we discard a story, all of a sudden in the light of day, it's almost objective truth gets really clear. Similarly, monarchy was a given. 5 minutes after we have a democracy, it seems insane. Wait, God appointed this family, only their kids, no matter how fucking ill-equipped they are, they should rule above the smartest folks on the land. It's insane. I think we should all have the humility to go, we're also in a story that will change, that will seem absolutely preposterous.
Yeah, we still need these kinds of stories, otherwise we don't have a society. But the good stories are the ones that acknowledge their own limitations and have, again, this mechanism to change the story later on.
It's like we want the scientific method infused in our storytelling almost.
It can be done. Again, the US Constitution is a perfect example of how it's done. A story that acknowledges its own potential limitations and gives you the ability to rewrite it over time. Of course, you know, also the religious stories, they get reinterpreted over time, but it's much, much more difficult and more limited. So because you can't change the text, so the trick is to interpret the text in a new way, but you don't really acknowledge that. You say, no, this is what it always meant.
Right. They just misunderstood.
Now, no religion would survive if it could not adapt. Christianity today is a completely different religion than Christianity 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago. So it does change, but the change is much, much more slow and difficult and often violent because it doesn't have this built-in mechanism to acknowledge past mistakes and try something better.
Okay, so can you identify the Achilles in our thinking? So the great gift is that we can buy into it. But then also we know that our stories tend to follow a very predictable pattern. There's only a few different stories.
Absolutely.
There's some vestigial Achilles tendon. I'm referencing one now. There's a segment of America that think the founding fathers were divine. Like the founding fathers. It's like, no, they were human dudes who had fucked up lives and they were pretty brilliant or they were good writers. They weren't elevated above any. So what's the backside of the coin that we need to at all times be really aware of? Oh, I bet we're steering into the trap.
It happened the same thing with Christianity. I mean, we don't know much about Jesus as a person, but from the little we know, for instance, from the stories preserved in the New Testament, he never claimed to be God. He was basically this kind of hippie guru in this small province of the Roman Empire.
Sexy carpenter.
Who
hair.
wanted to reform Judaism and basically tell people be nicer to each other. After he died, his followers weaved these more and more elaborate stories about who he really was
What he thought.
until eventually some of them began claiming that he was God. For Jesus himself and his first followers, this would have sounded utterly preposterous and blasphemous
Yeah.
Yes.
to claim that I'm God.
Because he was Jewish. He
Yeah,
did not think he
exactly.
was
He
Yahweh.
was Jewish.
Am I allowed to say that?
He
out loud?
did
Yeah.
not think he was Yahweh. He never says it. In line, you have a lot of, previous prophets like Jeremiah and Isaiah coming to the people, telling them you should behave better. And he's doing the same thing. During his time, we have evidence of a lot of other leaders in Judaism that try to reform Judaism in different ways. And this is basically what he's also saying, and the people around him, this is what they hear. But then, decades and generations after he's dead, and he's not there to be able to object, you have people say, no, this rabbi, this guru, who had a small following and was eventually crucified by the hated Romans, he was actually the God that created the whole of the universe.
So crazy.
We just learned of this, that really Paul wrote down all the stuff. And Paul had never met
Yeah.
Jesus. He never met him. He wasn't even a contemporary of him. And that not one human that surrounded Jesus was literate. So none of them wrote it down.
Paul was the one who created the brand.
Yes.
You have Elvis and you have his manager.
That was my exact,
Yes.
I said the exact same thing. I'm like,
So
oh, he was
exactly.
Colonel Parker.
Exactly.
And then you have to ask yourself, who's the real power? Is it Jesus, the symbol, or is it the story Paul created? I'd argue it's probably the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe Paul's the most significant.
A lot of scholars who research Christianity, they would definitely agree with you that the person who created Christianity is not Jesus, it's Paul.
Yes.
Oh my God,
exactly.
it's wild. And we
It
don't know
is.
about Paul. I don't even know his last name.
Saint.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
Thank you to our presenting sponsor, HP, for supporting this episode. Parents, you've got enough on your back to school list right now. Ink cartridges do not need to be on it. They just don't. The HP Smart Tank printer uses a refillable ink tank and comes with up to 3 years of ink included. It's the last printer you'll ever need. To learn more, search HP Smart Tank.
This episode is supported by Helix.
So I've had my Helix mattress for a few years now, and I still love it just as much as the first night. That says a lot because a good night's sleep is very important to me.
Sleep is everything. And what's great about Helix is that it's not a guessing game with finding the right mattress because they have over 20 models, so you can find the one that actually fits how you sleep. And with that summer heat upon us, Helix has cooling upgrades that can get you the best rest even on hot nights.
I have a Helix Midnight Luxe mattress. I really like the level of firmness it has, but that might not be right for you. They have so many options, and you just go take the quiz, and it is perfectly matched for your needs, which is incredible. I also highly, highly recommend the cooling upgrade, especially in the summer. It makes your sleep so much better. If you're still tossing and turning on a mattress that's not working for you, just trust us on this one.
Go to helixsleep.com/armchair for 20% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/armchair for 20% off site-wide. helixsleep.com/armchair. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. You've heard us talk about BetterHelp for a while, but I don't know that we've ever talked about how much people love this service when they use it. BetterHelp has an average live therapy session rating of 4.9 out of 5 based on over 1.7 million client session reviews. And you can check out the reviews yourself at betterhelp.com/reviews to see how much they love BetterHelp. Knowing that kind of service feedback from real people speaks for itself. I'm a huge proponent of therapy, as we've talked about before. I've learned so many things about myself that I believe truly only an outside, objective person could help me come to. BetterHelp makes it easy to get started. Answer a few questions, get matched with a therapist based on your needs, and switch therapists at any time if it's not the right fit. See the reviews, see what stands out, and see if BetterHelp is right for you. Visit betterhelp.com/Dax. That's betterhelp.com/Dax. We are supported by Auto Trader. All right, if you've been putting off car shopping because it sounds like a whole thing, buying your car online on Auto Trader makes it way easier, really. You can shop tons of cars online, compare prices, check financing and trade-in options, all from wherever you are. And if you want to start online and go to the dealership for a test drive, you can do that too. Really. What I like is the flexibility. Start online, finish at the dealer, or the other way around. Your info stays with you, so you're not starting the process from scratch. Plus, you're working with local dealer listings, so you've got real people helping behind the scenes. And when you're ready, you can pick up your car or have it delivered. Really. Buy your car online on AutoTrader. Really.
How can Jesus have created the universe if he lived in the universe?
Don't worry about
No,
that.
I don't. What is the rationale behind that?
Because Jesus is God. There's a Holy Trinity. They're all one thing. There's the Holy Spirit, there's God and his Son, but they're all one thing. So God was here, and then he said, fuck, they're all off kilter. I'm going to send my own son down there to lead them out of this quagmire, and then I'm going to let them die for their sins. But he just ascended back to heaven and I guess reconfigured with his one self.
I mean, in contemporary terms, he's abinary.
Okay.
He's gender fluid.
Okay.
Like
he's neutral.
he's both. Is he
Deity
human?
fluid.
Is he divine? No. He's human fluid.
Wow.
He can be both at the same time.
I'd love to party with him, man. Everything's on the table.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. It's not a good explanation, but I'll take it.
The Trinity is one of the most complex theological and philosophical ideas that humans ever came up with.
Yeah.
And the vast majority of Christians don't really understand it either.
Yes.
This is why you have this profession of theologians who spend their entire life just trying to get it exactly right.
Yeah.
What is the relation between God the Father and God the Son and the Holy Spirit and all that?
Yeah.
Can I tell you my favorite meme I've ever seen? I've sent it to 1 million people. It's a drawing of Jesus praying, and he said, God, it's me, you.
It's crazy.
Okay, this was incredible. I cannot speak highly enough about this book. I think it's the greatest way to get into a lot of really complicated topics, concepts, through picture, through really artful storytelling. It's fun. It's a page turner. It's a mystery. It's a great holistic explanation of how they got to their bedroom where they're hearing this book. It's, I think, very empowering. Like, okay, this is how it happened. And for all these reasons, the sky's the limit on where it could go. I'm grateful for it. While I have you, you've already given us so much time. God, every time I talk to you, it's a different experience with time. It travels differently. It's relative. Okay, I just want to check in on this. You have for, 10 years now. When did you write Homo Deus?
I wrote it in 2014, 15. It was published in 2016.
Okay, so maybe for 8 years, you've been kind of sounding an alarm, a little bit of a whistleblower, like, hey, let's be cognizant of where this story is heading.
Yeah.
One aspect of it is we're going to start to integrate a lot of technology into ourselves as a species. Biomechanically, we're going to engineer some embryos. We're really going to start tinkering with ourselves as a species. We're also going to be using AI to augment our own experience and intelligence. And you've been great at giving us some theoretical outcomes of all that and why we need to be very cautious.
Yeah, it's extremely dangerous, these developments.
So what I'm curious about is what has happened since you first started sounding that alarm? I want to know some concrete things that's either confirmed kind of what your fear was and or redirected what your fear is. What's happened recently that we could look at?
One of my biggest fears have always been from surveillance, from AI and the other digital technologies used in order to destroy human privacy and create these total surveillance regimes in which somebody follows us all the time, somebody knows us better than we know ourselves. And when I wrote it, this was kind of a futuristic fear. Now it's a reality. At least in some parts of the world, like if you go to China, it's no longer science fiction, it's no longer futuristic, it's actually happening. It's the first time in human history that you can technically follow everybody all the time.
And that's done through
Via their
these apps?
phone?
Several things. I mean, if you look back in history, so say you're Stalin and you want to follow all the people in the Soviet Union all the time. So you have two big problems. Your first problem is you don't have enough KGB agents.
Right, you need one for one.
Yeah, 1 for 1.
Yeah.
So 200 million Soviet citizens, you need at least 200 million KGB agents. I don't know, they have shifts, they have some time off.
And probably a couple 100 million to follow the KGB people.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah,
so it's
God.
endless. You don't
The
have enough
pyramid scheme,
agents.
yeah.
Secondly, even if you do have an agent following each person every day, At the end of the day, they write a paper report about you. They send it to Moscow. Somebody needs to read all these 200 million pieces of paper nobody can do that. So you cannot follow everybody all the time. Some human privacy is secure even in the Soviet Union. Now, with AI and smartphones and all that, it's a game changer. Because you don't need millions of human agents to follow everybody around. You have the smartphones. People are paying for the agent from their own money and subsidizing their agent and taking the agent everywhere. And even if you don't have your own smartphone, there are other devices of other people. And the second problem of how to analyze all this information, AI.
Yeah.
You don't need a human to actually read all the data being collected. So you have things like social credit system, which is now being developed, which is basically taking all the data about you and giving you a score of how good a person or a citizen you are, which sounds very nice until you think, wait a minute, who is determining the score for different things?
You're a gay atheist. You
Yes.
might have a low score somewhere. You'd have the highest score in my book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in Iran and you're a gay atheist, then, your score is -1,000,000 or something. And if you're in China and you once told a joke about Xi Jinping, or you read a book by somebody who was later declared enemy of the people.
You preferred your vacation in Hong Kong than you did to Beijing?
Again, the problem is not the AI by itself, it's the usage that certain governments, certain corporations maybe, certain people will make of it. I mean, technology by itself is not bad. It's basically like a knife. You can use a knife to murder somebody. You can use a knife to save their life in surgery.
Yeah.
So it's the same with the new technologies we are developing. But AI is different from a knife in one important respect. It's the first technology that can make decisions by itself. A knife doesn't decide whether to murder or whether to save. But AI, it's the first technology ever invented that can actually make decisions independently. And it is increasingly making decisions about us. So today in the United States, forget about China or Iran, in the US, you apply to a bank to get a loan. Increasingly, it's an AI that decides whether to give you a loan or not.
Oh.
You apply for a job. Increasingly, it's an AI. In the justice system, increasingly, AI is being used to determine sentences for people.
Really?
And this is extremely dangerous and scary, partly because the AI becomes so complicated, nobody understands how it actually makes the decision.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
You can only set the AI off in a direction. And at some point, we don't understand it, so we have to assume, well, the AI must be right.
Exactly, and that's the danger. 6 years ago when it started, so people had this idea that, this is just mathematics. So AI cannot be racist. AI cannot be misogynist because it's just numbers, it's just math. How can it be racist? Now we know. We have so many studies that prove that AI can be extremely racist. It picks up the racism from the data. If you train AI on a racist database, it becomes racist.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had bankers refusing loans to black people and giving loans to white people in the same situation, and then you have an AI, you need to train the AI. So you'd give the AI a database of previous decisions made by bankers and the outcome, and the AI learns from that. It learns, don't give loans to black people.
It could discover that you have a 0.01% rate of defaulting on a loan if the customer's white and a 0.02% if the customer's black. The AI doesn't at all think of the historical context that might lead to that number. It doesn't think of the other factors that might inflate that number. It just sees the number. It sounds great, objectivity, but in fact, subjectivity is imperative in so many ways.
Exactly, and it's very difficult to get over it because, for instance, you say, okay, the AI should not have any data about race. But then, for instance, it finds out that people who live in a certain neighborhood, you shouldn't give them loans. It doesn't know that, it's a specific ethnic group that lives, so it becomes a proxy. There is a very famous example that they give with the Boston Orchestra, that years ago, when they wanted to test new people for the orchestra, a violinist or whatever, they discovered that if the people who decide who to hire, they see the musicians, they are biased because of something like gender.
Right.
Yeah.
They would
They always think
prefer
male-
men are better violinists.
Right.
So they said, okay, we'll have a curtain. You sit behind the curtain, you can't see the gender of the person, and then it's a fair decision. But the interesting thing is they realize it's not enough to have a curtain because they are musicians, they are listening very, very carefully. So if somebody comes with high heels,
Yeah. There's
so,
some jewelry rattling around.
so the new rule, you have to come in your socks.
Oh my God.
Also, if all women have about 6,000 different pills in their purse, like Monica
They don't need to
travels-
bring their purse in.
So if you hear a ton of medication rattling around, and
yeah, because all the
Tylenol-
men are like, "Can I have Advil?" And so the women have to
I've been
have to
grateful for
provide it.
But there's a lot of giveaways.
Also, what's interesting is because it's, quote, blind, it's fun to figure out if it's a male or a female. Your brain is like, "Ooh, but I also want to know because I can't see." So you're also looking extra hard for the clues.
Yeah, you think that you took gender or race out of the equation, but it's actually very hard to know if you did it.
Oh.
So the danger of kind of racist AI, it's not something that is easy to solve.
You could get rid of race as a metric the AI looks at, but then open up the rest of the world for the AI to examine. And you could find that borrowers who listen to this type of music
Exactly.
defaulted.
Yes.
You would just find its way, hip hop. Then you
Yeah.
could do shoes. You could do
Names,
dietary.
yes, so many things.
I mean, you can't escape that we have some expressions of our microcultures that generally are lined up by race.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you wanted to get rid of hillbillies, you look at who's buying these country albums. You know, like you could
Yeah.
find a way to figure it out, and the machine will. Okay, so that's already happening. It's happening with loans. What's China doing with these scores?
If you have a low score, then you won't be admitted to university.
Oh,
Or a prestige university. You can only go to the lousy universities. You cannot buy an airplane ticket. You cannot get a ticket to the fastest trains. You can only go on the slower trains. I mean, there's so many things that as a result of having a low social credit score. And the thing is, it's everything you do. If you think about money, so money is a system to give value to certain things you do in life. Like you work, you get money for that. But most of the things you do, they don't have a money value. But this is a way to basically monetize the whole of life. Everything you do. You tell a joke. If it's the wrong joke, you lose some credit for it.
God.
If you did something that they liked, you get a score. So it also means that the whole of life becomes much, much more stressful. This is not just China, this is also the US, other countries. If you're being monitored all the time and the data is always there, whatever you do could influence, your job prospects in 20 years. Like you are now a kid in school and you go to a party and you do something stupid, not illegal, and this is recorded. And 20 years later, you are running for being, Supreme Court judge or politician or bank appointment. And this data comes up. It never goes away. So the whole of life becomes one long job interview.
Yeah.
Anything you do, any moment of your life could meet you 20 years down the line when you're kind of interviewing for a job.
okay. So I'm thinking about that right now. And of course, the first thing I think of is history is absolutely populated with unlikable, uncooperative, outcast misfits who have brought us the biggest breakthroughs, the best movements, the finishing of the Panama Canal. History's not made up of people with a high social score.
Not always.
I guess you'd have to immediately say is, okay, if we're going to enact this policy, we're only going to give resources and fast trains and higher education to people who are fitting in the norm we want. History would tell you you're going to miss out on the Picassos and all these different people, right? And so my question is, they must recognize that.
I'll miss out on Picasso, but I get more powerful control of every person in the country.
I'm not looking for Bezos. I'm
Yes.
not looking for Elon Musk.
I have me. I have Putin. I don't
Yeah,
want.
all I need.
That's all I need.
Yeah.
I don't want Picassos and Bezos and so forth.
Yeah. But don't countries, as a governmental policy for China, don't they recognize they're going to be ill-equipped to compete?
It's the price that many of them are willing to pay. You talk about Bezos. So Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, he disappeared for a couple of months, a year or two ago. Nobody knows exactly where. The Chinese government also took a lot of other steps against the kind of big high-tech companies, which really undermined the business of these companies. And you just look at the share prices of Tencent and Baidu and Alibaba, and it really went down. And now with their zero COVID policy, it's really hurting the Chinese economy. But for the CCP, for the Chinese Communist Party, I mean, this is a price we're willing to pay. These powerful companies, they became too powerful. They became a threat.
Yes.
We need to put them down a little or much.
Before it gets completely out of control.
If this means that the Chinese economy suffers to some extent, if this means that China is a little behind in the technology race, this is fine with us because political control is ultimately more important than anything else. And again, this is the kind of strength of a democracy. And this is why you do see that even though in the short term, autocratic countries sometimes do better because they can take decisive, firm, quick action or something.
You can build the Autobahn.
Yeah. In the long term, democracies tend to perform much better.
Right.
Interesting. Wow.
Yuval Harari. Yuval Noah Harari, most popular name in America. Let's hope that Yuval makes it next year.
Yes,
Let's just go through your
exactly.
whole name. Unstoppable Us, Volume 1, How Humans Took Over the World. Is it safe to assume there'll be more volumes, and will you take us even closer to present day?
There should be 4 volumes altogether. So the first volume, it focuses on the Stone Age. But again, it's not just about the Stone Age. It's about how the Stone Age still shapes our life today, our emotions, our social system. It's still based in the Stone Age. And then the following volumes, they look at the agricultural revolution and how we domesticated chickens and pigs and wheat and rice and built kingdoms and empires.
Guns, Germs, and Steel.
Yeah, and then it goes all the way, volume 3 and volume 4 to the present era, explaining to kids what democracy is and capitalism and the scientific revolution and all these things.
Oh, my
Amazing.
God.
Don't go to
I'm
school.
going to pull
Just read these
I was going to
books.
say, I'm going to pull my kids out of school and just read them these 4 books. There'll only be one founding father in our house. It'll be Yuval Harari. Very low on the China likability scale, but just.
And you said we
10
could write in the book so we can
You
amend
can write
them.
in the book, you can amend the book, definitely. To be honest, I'm sure there are some mistakes there. Every year they make new discoveries. So like in 5 years or 10 years, they'll discover some new human species. So absolutely amend the book.
Amazing.
You said, so in writing this book, you're basically saying to children, do I want them to carry my ideas, my religions, my wars, my memories? Here, kid, I carried these up to here. Now you carry them. Or do I want to help liberate them from their fears, their illusions, their misery? See these kids? I got stuck with them for years. Be careful. You don't have to pick them up.
Oof. Good.
Bam!
It's good.
Bam!
Real
Yuval, you rule. It felt like 11 minutes. I love when you visit. I hope you'll keep writing.
Yeah,
so you'll
thanks
keep
for
visiting.
coming
Yeah.
to the attic.
I will come back. Yeah.
Okay,
Please.
great. Last time you were lost, I don't know if you remember. Maybe it's not last time, it was the first time.
Yeah, when you went to
You went to a friend's house that
friend's.
was 45 feet that way.
No,
But the route you took to get 45 feet this way ended up
It's
being about 9
complicated.
minutes.
it is complicated.
It's very memorable. People should make guffaws when you introduce somebody because it's like a permanent memory. Like, remember when Yuval took 15 minutes to go 45 feet? Thanks for coming.
Thank
Great to
you.
see you. Please come back.
I will. Thanks for having me.
And now my favorite part of the show, the fact check with my soulmate, Monica Padman.
We are supported by HP. If you're a parent or you know one, like I do, or you can help take care of kids, you already know what August feels like. It's not summer anymore, it's the pregame. The supplies list, the forms, the we need this printed by tomorrow texts that come in at 9 p.m. And I say this as someone who's been on the receiving end of those texts in a former life. You're ready to help, and then the printer says no, out of ink, blinking at you, useless. It's such a small thing, but it will absolutely derail your night. So when I heard about the HP Smart Tank printer from HP, America's most trusted printer brand, I thought this is the kind of thing that actually makes life easier, not in a big flashy way, in a one less crisis way. Instead of those little cartridges that run out the second you need them, the HP Smart Tank uses refillable ink tanks, and it comes with up to 3 years of ink included. 3 years. That's 3 back-to-school seasons without the cartridge panic. HP can't fill out the forms for you, but they can make sure the printer is never the reason you're up past midnight. Search HP Smart Tank.
What a good episode.
I love him.
Me too.
He's by far of my favorite people to listen to talk.
I know.
He's so well spoken. Even with his accent, he's speaking English as a second language, maybe third.
He has to overcome a lot, but he does it. We should catch up on something.
Okay.
I didn't finish it, so I can't say too much, but you told me to watch a doc after our last fact check about
Falwell Jr.?
Yes.
Oh my God, did you watch it?
I started it, so I haven't finished.
Oh, I loved it. But it was so on topic of what we were just discussing in the previous fact check.
It was crazy because it was about a scandal, which I didn't know about.
I didn't either.
But the Liberty College director, I guess,
Yeah.
owner, I don't know.
Yeah, chairman
He was caught like watching his wife have sex.
with a young man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like a 7-year-long thing.
Yes. So just for people who aren't super abreast of the Falwells, Jerry Falwell Sr. was the first person to politicize the evangelical movement and create a voting bloc called the Moral Majority, and has shaped politics so dramatically. The previous 3 Republican presidents, 4, Reagan, the 2 Bushes, and Trump, they basically got to go to Falwell and get his approval.
Yeah.
Kingmaker, they referred to him.
Yeah.
So then his son comes along, and it is determined that the son isn't going to be the best preacher, that that's not really his lane. But then he shows a lot of business aptitude. They put him in charge of Liberty College, this biggest Christian university in the country, probably the world, I'd guess. And he and his wife have this high-flying lifestyle. And they party, and they meet a boy who's a pool attendant at a Miami hotel, and they invite him on a date, and Jerry watches them make love.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your impression? Because I have such a specific takeaway from it, which is going to probably shock you.
Well, and then all to say he got like fired from the university. Like
It all came out.
it all came out and crashing for him.
And other allegations with other students that had visited their compound and whatnot.
Got
so just
it.
really embroiled in a lot of atypical sexual activities.
Yes.
Not in line with the moral majority values.
I mean, my main takeaway was if you grow up in this extremist household, which he did, extreme religion, you're gonna come out with
Something's
some
gonna
perversions. Yeah, you just are. And what we sort of said last time, I don't really care what
Right,
you,
I don't
what
care
you
if people
do.
have 3 ways. Yeah,
I don't care what you do as long as, everyone's consenting, which in this case they were, it seems.
Oh, yeah. My weird takeaway, like if you scrap the hypocrisy just for a second, you take that off the table, that he's
Yes.
being a huge hypocrite.
Yes.
That the Liberty College has this code of conduct. He's violating every single thing that he's encouraging people to follow. So just if we can table that part of it, there was something oddly sweet about the notion that those two had this weird trust for one another, and that I guess that would have been grossed out if it was her watching him fuck young girls.
Yeah.
Gender-wise would have triggered me.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was his older wife having sex with this younger man, and he was there, and he was really kind to the guy, and
Yeah, he was.
There was something really weirdly sweet about it, where I was like, "This is like, let's just assume he's trusting his wife enough to." Quote, allow her to have these experiences, and he's there. And what's interesting is he never got like psychotic jealous. Like she was in love with this young guy.
Yeah.
And he would even say to him like, well, you really broke Becky's heart when you started dating that girl. Like he would kind of be there for his wife.
It's interesting.
It's so abnormal, the whole
is.
situation.
It is.
But within it, I was like, if they're just two humans, that this is their
Yeah.
vacations, there's something bizarrely trusting and sweet about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. The problem comes from the forward-facing persona versus
The
what's
hypocrisy.
going on
Yes.
behind the scenes.
And then it escalates. You're probably not that part of the documentary. But once he gets obsessed with Trump, his rhetoric starts escalating dramatically. He's also a tremendous alcoholic by that point. Like when his downfall happens, he's drunk in public everywhere. He has a whole other thing. So then the other great takeaway for me of the doc was people at their most dangerous when they get everything they wanted.
Definitely.
Because, and I speak as someone who got everything they wanted, there's no accompanying elation. And I think some of these people who end up like billionaires or whatever they get,
Yeah.
they're like, now what?
Yeah, that's our whole show.
Yeah, now what?
Yeah.
And I think their thing was like, all of a sudden they got to do something more extraordinary sexually. They
Yeah.
got to party harder. Like there's just no there.
Yeah.
And then these people in search of that there end up in these bizarre.
Totally.
Yeah. It's just an interesting take on what's after getting everything you're supposed to get.
Yeah.
Kind of some deplorable. Did we say that word? No.
Deviant.
Deviant.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just gonna get kinky to feel like now I'm doing something that's different. That part's really curious to me. And then I introduced the term. So we had been talking about this scenario, but the popular term for it is a cuck.
Cuckold, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cuck for short for cuckold.
Yeah. Shakespearean.
Shakespearean. Yeah.
All hell.
It's kind of, or I shouldn't say it's common, but I know of this also occurring in the gay community as like a fetish.
Thruple. Just watching your partner get
Yeah.
fucked? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And when I heard about that, I was like, oh, wow. It kind of goes to show, doesn't matter how liberal you are or how open you are, I think that we're programmed to believe that being gay is already outside of norms.
Right. You're no longer, you're not playing by the rules anymore anyways.
So then you're allowed to do, or like anything that's
Sky's the
happening
limit.
over there is already like, oh, well, it's already a little different. So no wonder all this other stuff
I've
is
already been
going on.
shamed
Yeah.
to death over this orientation I have.
Yeah.
So what's a little more shame?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you
then
kind of
they-
get good at just going, well, fuck you in your shame, I think.
Right. There's an ownership over it.
Uh-huh. And I kind of hold that position, which is there isn't any morality in sex.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
assuming you're not hurting anyone or raping anyone.
Yeah.
There's no morality.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong. We lived as polygamists for the vast majority of time we humans have been on this planet. So this
Yeah.
monogamy experiment is quite relatively new.
Yeah.
That's not to say I'm not a proponent of it. It's just there was no amorality about it,
Yeah.
1,000 years ago.
I know. It's
I mean, all of Greece was bisexual. You just got to go like, okay, everything can just flip on a dime. And,
yeah. It's just about culture, really.
great doc.
Yeah, I'm going to finish it.
Are you caught up on White Lotus?
Yes. So good.
I love how she talks. Why are you leaving me now? I'm going to be lonely. You don't even like me.
Jennifer Coolidge, I know.
She's so good.
She's so good. I imagine Mike White just lets the camera roll and let her say kind of whatever.
Yeah, was it you and I that were told the story that the first season that a lot of stuff wasn't scripted for her? And one was just like her in the ocean. Oh, my buddy Peter was telling me. He's like, just, there's nothing written, but we need you in the ocean. And there's this long scene with her just, getting crazy in the ocean. And it's like, yeah, I imagine they build in a lot of space for her to be Jennifer Coolidge.
The tension. I think he does such a good job of building a war. Like, who's right? Like, nobody's right.
I love it.
Nobody
Yeah, the
is
two
right.
couples is great.
They are. And I vacillate back and forth. I'm like, ugh, to one and then ugh to the other. And you're just like constant. It's so well done. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And the like really nice guy.
Oh, my God. We were watching that last night. I don't think we need to give anything away
No.
by saying that there's a super respectful boy on the show whose father and grandfather are with him, and they are both very sexually aggressive.
Yeah.
So this boy is the antithesis of them.
Yeah.
And he meets a girl, and it's that we were watching last night, and I said, fucking humans are so complex, and there'll never be a solution.
I know.
You want the boy to be exactly that, and you might be dry as the Sahara because of
Exactly.
it.
Like,
What do we do about that?
Not attractive, but it is exactly
What
what we
you
need
want.
and want. It's so crazy.
Oh, it is. And it's so honest. I'm so glad that's being shown
I
because
know.
everyone would love to live in a fairy tale where just acting like that would get you what you think it should.
I know.
But no, some dirtbag with tattoos jumps in the water and you're like, I want to be fucked by that guy.
I know. And then the nice guy comes sauntering up and is like so sweet and it's cringy. And then you're so mad at yourself for feeling that.
Yes, guilt.
Oof.
Well, it's that the fake podcast by. So Kyle Dunnigan has a podcast called Pussies, and it's a podcast about women, for women, by men.
Yeah.
And they're making this really impassioned speech about women's rights. And the first caller, she's like, hey, yeah, I'd love the show. You guys are saying exactly what I want to hear, but I am fucking dry as hell.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, it's
I don't
so
think we can live in a world, though, where we don't admit that.
I
just don't
agree.
know. Like, I don't know how we transcend it if we don't first admit it.
I
Like,
agree.
It's so wild.
I agree. But it's because we are all programmed in the exact same system. Women aren't not in the patriarchy. We are.
Yeah. And culture is the most powerful force in our life, but also we are animals on planet Earth to fucking procreate.
Yeah.
And we are subconsciously assessing fitness, in the scientific term, fitness for a mate
Yeah.
in a way that we're not aware of.
Totally. But what I will say, what's great about the casting is that boy is
Gorgeous.
so beautiful.
Oh, he's gorgeous. His body's beautiful.
Yes.
His face is beautiful.
Yeah.
He's tall. And
So I like that he didn't pick like some very stereotypical, maybe nerdy, like he's hot.
yes. Which again is fascinating because
Yeah.
it might say, that's why I say fitness in quotes. In the evolutionary term fitness doesn't mean physically fit. So you might subconsciously, this is a hypothetical. I am not saying this is what it is.
Yeah.
But it is possible that as a social primate that understands that your offspring have the very best chance of surviving if their father is high status.
Right.
Let's start with that's the baseline fact of a social primate,
Yeah.
which is true. What you could subconsciously be knowing about that boy is that's not the personality type that will rise to high status in a position of authority within a social group.
Yeah, maybe. Which is
Forget
such a
the,
bummer.
like, can he fight his way to the top,
Right.
which is what his body would lead you to believe. Well, he is a physical specimen, but
Yeah.
there might be something subconscious that says this person, this isn't the attributes of our species that
Right.
end up being the highest status male in a group.
Well, though, then that transfers on to the couples because there's one of the men.
Alpha male.
There's an alpha male, and then there's what seems to be sort of a beta male, but he's not.
Yeah, and he's the big
rich.
winner. Yeah.
Yeah, and he just got super rich, and it's like messing with that
Yes.
too.
So juicy.
God, it's
Because
good.
that's such a part of our current society, too,
Yeah.
is all these unconventional males have become alpha males.
Also, there's a character who's what seems to be a vapid woman on the surface. And the more we meet her, you realize she kind of just has it figured out.
Yeah, she seems clever.
Yes. It asks these great questions in life, which is like, what is the goal?
Exactly.
What is the goal? That brings me to a great piece of housekeeping.
Okay.
I believe people who watch the race on Sunday, who know I'm obsessed with Formula One and Max Verstappen, will be really needing me to respond to
Okay.
something that happened.
Okay.
Were you ready for that transition?
Yeah.
Okay. His teammate, Checo Perez, who absolutely laid down on his sword for Max last season. He sacrificed one of his qualifying sessions just so he could give Max a tow so that Max could get him pole to beat Lewis. He held Lewis up anytime he could so he couldn't get up to Max, like fought for his life.
He was his wingman.
In the most sacrificial way
Yeah.
in my short time watching the sport that's ever been seen.
Okay.
Across the board last season, everyone was like, Checo is the soldier of all soldiers. He's there to bring that team a victory, and he is willing to sacrifice for it.
That's amazing.
Loyalty, it's never been on such display. Currently, Max has already won the championship. All right. So
Right.
his season's over. He won.
Yeah. How many more races? Okay.
Sundays and then next week. So Perez is almost identically tied with Leclerc for second place.
Oh.
The last 3 laps of the race, Max, who had been crashed into, worked his way back up from last place.
Oh my God.
He is driving much faster than Checo. It's a fact. He passes Checo. He passes Checo, and the team. Now, this came out today. They did not play any of the radio communications on the broadcast, which they normally do.
Yeah.
They started telling Max, let Checo by
Yeah.
so he can finish in 4th. You'll finish in 5th. He'll get more points in his race with Leclerc. Max just doesn't acknowledge he's been asked this. They keep saying it to him, Max, what? Let him by, let him by. He crosses the finish line, and they said, Max, what happened? And he finally comes on and he goes, I told you I don't ever want to talk about this. I told you last summer this is my position. I'll never do this, and I stand by my decision.
Oh, my God.
Okay. First of all, it's a total bummer. Checo deserved it so much. He deserved it so much. That's first and foremost. Secondly, I wish Max had a little bit of a 30,000-foot view because he just ruined the shine of his championship. Like, he was going to finish the season as a celebrated champion. He did it in record fashion, won the most races, got the most points in a season. He's already a hero of heroes. Everyone's now completely disappointed in him making that decision. So he took this great thing and he just put the shittiest fucking film over it for no reason. So that's my verdict. And yet, I am not in the least bit surprised. I absolutely expect him to do that. I think for him, his ethics are very clear. He is a race car driver whose dedication at every moment is to get any points available to him.
Well, yeah, I don't think he has ethics. I think he just has one goal.
Well, his ethics are, he's like a doctor, right? That is committed to, he has an oath.
Yeah.
What is obvious to me is his oath is, my job as a race car driver is to get every point available to me at all times. I never, ever not try to finish as high up as I can, no matter what.
Yeah.
That's my commitment.
Yeah.
So his ethics aren't obscure to me. I disagree with them, but they're not obscure to me.
Yeah.
This is a freak of nature who'd kill himself to win. I'm not so shocked that in this moment he was totally rude, bad teammate,
Bad
not
person.
Nice.
That's a bad person thing to do. I mean, that just, wow.
It's a bummer. I'm still a Max fan, but it's
I know,
a
you're
real
allowed.
bummer.
You're
It's a bummer.
Yeah. But I agree. It's like, what, really?
I'm not
It's not a shock.
No, I'm not shocked.
He's proven himself to be that.
Yeah, he almost killed himself like 5 times last season to beat Lewis. Am I shocked that he was
Just
rude?
makes me sad that, that like, nice guy. It's back to nice guys.
Yeah. Well, it raises weirdly a similar point, which is, can you be the guy that wins back-to-back championships and not the best car, and also be the guy that gives up a spot at the end of the race to be nice? Does that person exist?
Yeah, but also, I don't want to procreate with Max. I'd much rather procreate
Daniel.
with, well, obviously
yeah,
Daniel.
that's a good time. Yeah.
Avi. But with this person who is like loyal and doing their best for the team, and then
Who do you want to be friends with? You want to be friends with Checo.
exactly,
That dude is there for you.
Like that person in life is take
Admirable.
racing out of
Yep.
it. He's succeeding.
Long after racing ends, he has an integrity
Exactly.
that will attract other people to him for life. He's going to be the winner in all this.
Okay, so a couple facts, obviously not very many. He said Israel has about 9 million citizens, 9.364 million.
Oh, so he got that completely wrong.
Yeah, he was wrong.
Good.
I thought it was interesting we were talking about hyenas hanging around lions because Lion King. That's depicted in Lion King.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they're the great adversaries.
Yeah, they're mean guys, baddies.
Hyenas.
Yeah.
Again, it's so subjective. Like
No, they're bad guys in the
they're
movie.
not pretty. Oh, in the movie, yes,
Yeah.
yes. They're the bad guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And his brother, right? He's got a shit brother.
Well, Scar.
That's his name,
Yeah.
Scar. Yeah, that guy's a prick.
Yeah, Scar killed
His own brother.
Mufasa.
Yeah.
So sad.
Cutthroat.
My mom cried in that, and that was the first time I saw her cry.
Did it scare you?
Yeah.
It did.
I didn't like it.
Did you tell her to stop?
Yeah.
Make you a milkshake? Stop crying. Make
doing
me a
that.
milkshake.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I missed one.
Hold
on.
Okay. Give me 2 seckies.
Okay.
I went to a wedding in Utah.
Tell me about the wedding in Utah.
My good buddy Tyler Laguzzo got married to Alexis,
Okay.
and it was a wedding out in Utah among these beautiful rock crops, like big, huge rock formations
Oh, cool.
in red. Very dramatic, very beautiful. I took the 2 little girls by myself, which was so fun.
In the bus?
No, in a car.
Oh, I don't know why I thought you took the bus.
I was in that white Suburban I rented.
Oh, weird.
Very comical,
I
too, right?
imagined you in the bus.
No, too slow.
Oh,
I wanted to get there.
Got it.
But I had both little girls, which was so fun because I got if Kristen's available, she's a better option. They're going to talk to her. They're going to ask her for things. I just really can't compete with the appeal of it. So they were stuck with me. Lincoln was sitting up front and we were chatting and I was saying do you ever fantasize about your life in the future? I got to hear things she fantasizes about, being a good soccer player. Like she wants to be, she pictures herself scoring goals at school and the boys being really impressed.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Then we talked about, do you ever at night laying in bed, go over some things you're embarrassed about? And she's like, oh, yes. And I said, oh, I do this all the time. I told her this great story. I probably have told you about it. But I said, here's one, hon, that I think about at least once a week before going to bed. When I was in high school, I was obsessed with Party of Five, and mostly because of Nev Campbell.
Of course.
I was just heartbroken in love with her.
Yeah.
I'd almost cry.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe I'm not going to be with this human being.
Yes.
This is, I know you know it. Well, you felt it with Matt and Ben. This is wrong.
Injustice.
So I moved to LA. My friend Nate Tuck produces a movie. I come on to play Vomiteer at a party. I have no lines. I throw up in the background, but I'm there all night, and it's a night shoot. And so some of Nate's buddies are in town from college. We're drinking on set. We're drinking Jack and Cokes out of a normal Coke bottle.
Yeah.
And we go all through the night. In the morning, they put out breakfast. We're still shooting. I saddle up next to her at the buffet line. She's in the movie,
Wait,
Nev Campbell.
yeah,
Nev Campbell is the star of this movie.
That's a big-
I'm so sorry. That should have been said a minute ago.
Okay.
I got to add, really fun element of this is during the day, Matthew Lillard, who was dating her at the time, visited her. And I knew Matthew Lillard from Scream.
Right.
I have no idea I'm going to be in a movie
Ding, ding,
with
ding.
him
I
in
know.
7 years.
How crazy.
But I was looking at him and I'm like, of course she's with him. He's so stylish and cool and he's so tall and real. I remember thinking he's a catch.
Yeah. Well,
I
he
have
is.
my work cut out
We
for
love
me.
him.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah.
Anywho, he's gone. Fuck him. I saddle up next to her at the buffet line where she's grabbing presumably a breakfast burrito or something. And I go, what are you going to have for breakfast? Man, you've been drinking for, 12 hours.
Right.
Yeah. What are you fixing to have for breakfast? And she's like, oh, I'm going to have blah, blah, blah. What are you going to have? And I go, oh, I'm going to drink my breakfast.
Right.
And
You
I
have told me
think
that.
I have. This is the worst.
Yeah.
In my little circle at 23 years old, that's cool.
That would have been cool.
Oh, if I was in Michigan, that would have been such a cool thing to say. She looked at me like, oh my God,
Yeah.
of course. Oh no, this person's struggling.
Yeah.
And what are they doing on set? And are
Who
they in
is this person?
This is person who's clearly, been drinking all night and now into the morning. And it just wasn't at all what I was expecting.
Yeah.
And so I think about that from time to time just to keep myself humble.
But also you're not that anymore.
I'm not, yeah. Nev, if you're listening, let's try this again. Let's give this a shot.
It's good to have reminders of growth.
So I found that most of the things I think about while sleeping or trying to go to sleep is it's times I thought I was cool. That's pretty much the greatest source of embarrassment for me. And I even have one from when I was 7 years old and my mom picked me up from school and I sat on the floor instead of the seat.
Oh, you've told me this,
yes.
yeah.
And she was trying to ask how my day was and I was just over it. I was like,
Kids do this.
But I remember feeling so cool.
Well, you felt fraudulent. That's why you still think about it.
No, in the moment, I thought I was super cool and that what I was doing was cool. And then as I got older, I looked back and realized, what were you doing?
Why were you sure? I think you must have in the moment felt, I know this is cool, but something's wrong because your brain wouldn't have registered to remember it if that were the case.
I kind of disagree because
Really?
even the Nev thing, I remember going back to the college buddies and bragging about what I just said to her. I thought it was awesome.
I know consciously, but I think there's something subconscious. That's why you're a good person. Because there is a peace happening
I just
even
think
when
my
bad stuff's
perspective
happening.
changes, and then I'm now looking at my life through a totally different perspective, which I just didn't have. I couldn't have.
Yes, but you don't remember every other day. I don't know. I'm just giving you some credit. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think You knew somehow, like, this something's wrong. I don't feel good about making my mom feel dumb, and I don't feel good about this drinking breakfast.
Whatever it is, that is the thing I'll replay as times I thought I was really cool.
Yeah.
And I wasn't. What are yours? Are they like mistakes you've made, or are they moments? Meanness. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Rob, do you have a thing that you like? You beat yourself up over?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What is it?
When I was younger, I broke this watch that my grandpa gave me.
On accident?
On accident. I was like a little basketball hoop.
Oh, but that sounds like
Well, no.
Very
but then
pure.
No, we're not to the. I don't think we're to the regrettable part. Yeah, no, you don't regret a mistake.
Okay, yeah.
And then I hid it and pretended like I found it, and then my brother broke it.
Oh, sure.
He got in trouble.
Oh,
for
you
it.
blamed it on your brother.
Yeah, he got like ADHD after that. So for a while, I was
You blamed yourself.
This is why his
Oh my God,
behavior spiraled.
Rob. It might have been.
He admitted to it eventually, which I
Yeah.
don't.
Oh my
It's
God,
the
false
interrogation.
confession.
Yeah, interrogation episode.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, do you want me to keep that in about ADHD?
I mean,
That's up to you.
he had behavioral issues.
Okay, I don't think that's any better, but I have that with my brother because I would be mean to him.
Yeah, you're 8 years older.
Yeah, but I was mean. And my mom would say, "You're going to screw him up." Like, she would be really clear about that.
Yeah, you're
like, don't.
damaging him.
Yeah.
Look, man, this is life on planet Earth. When you have siblings, it alters the course of your life for sure.
Yeah.
I'm writing about it a ton right now.
Yeah. Well, especially if you have an older.
Yes, I always declare this. I obviously have a lot of things I focus on, but certainly one of my primary focuses in life is not being deceived.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's brutal. And so I'm kind of like charting when that started. Obviously, I have some big clues, like I was deceived by a molester, right? So
Exactly.
that's one. But it really, when I think about it, it starts right out of the gates, which is this great family story about me that everyone loves to tell, is that my brother would offer me a cup of water when I was like 2 years old. You want a cup of water, Dax? He was 7. I'd say yes, and he'd put scalding hot water in the cup, and he'd give it to me. And everyone loves to tell this story because you get to do my reaction, which is this. Ooh, hot.
Oh.
Right? It's like, first it's like, ooh, this is new. And then the hot is like, I've labeled this. This is hot. No one else should drink out of this.
Oh, that's
and then he would go, oh my
smart.
gosh, is that hot? Let me get you another glass. He'd go and he'd fill up with hot water again. He'd come
my
and give it to me. I'd
God.
go, ooh, hot. Okay.
I think that means you're just a smart kid.
Did I know what hot water is?
Yeah. What?
Everyone knows what hot or
They
cold water
do?
is. Sure.
Oh.
But, it's mild and it's for a comedic end. It's not nefarious.
I don't like it.
Okay. But another thing is he told me to throw a rock through the auto parts window when I was 3. I threw a rock through this glass window. We got chased. We got brought back to the babysitter. Again, this is a family story that gets told every time we're all together. And so the babysitter called my mom at work, and she said, put Dax on. And then my mom said, what happened, Daxter? What did you do? Very encouraging. Like, no matter what it was, I'm going to
okay.
accept you. Yes.
Yeah.
Very soft landing. And I looked at David, and David nodded. Tell her. And I said, I threw a fucking rock through the auto parts window. So my brother had told me, when you tell mom what you did, tell her you threw a fucking rock through the auto parts window.
Oh.
So my mother has to cover the phone, and she starts laughing so hard, and she's at work. And then she calls her buddy Forrest. She's working in the tool crib. She calls him over to the phone and says, I'm sorry, Dex, it's so loud in here. Will you tell me again what happened? I threw a fucking rock through the auto parts window. And then she goes, okay, well, we'll talk about it when you get home. Put your brother on.
Uh-huh.
So again, I don't know saying fucking rock is bad.
Yeah.
I didn't know throwing the rock to begin with, but then
just
we were
learn how to
chased.
talk.
Yes, and then my brother gets on the phone, and now he is clearly busted. He's going, I know, okay, I'm sorry, right?
Yeah.
The whole situation is so confusing. What has happened?
Right. You don't know what's
She
going
didn't respond to fucking, now he's in trouble. I'm the one who threw the rock. What is going on?
Yeah.
So conspiracies were afoot
Yeah,
from
sure.
day one.
Sure.
So, it served me well to find out, like, what is someone really motivated by?
Yeah.
They don't even have to be bad things. They can just be innocuous, silly, fun,
Right.
comical
No, I
things from
get
your
it.
childhood.
Speaking of writing, because you're writing these stories down, my gift guide's coming up.
Oh my gosh. Are you going to be a little more ahead of it this year?
Yeah,
Because it stressed you out so much last
I
year.
did.
You
I
kept
started
canceling
it.
it, but then you did it.
I know. I have a feeling the same thing's going to happen,
Okay.
but I did start this weekend
You
with
did.
my first post. I had a
Wait, you already dropped the post?
no. I just was
formulated it.
Yeah, I was deciding what I was going to put.
Can you give it to me early?
Oh, you.
Because I don't like waiting, and then there might be a run on the products because you're so popular.
Okay.
And you know I buy everything you recommend.
I know.
There.
Yeah, I'll send it to you beforehand.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway, so keep your eyes peeled for the gift guys.
You got to use it. It'll save your ass, especially if you have in-laws.
I think social media currently. And yeah. Also, we got to talk about the prompts.
Okay.
We put it
What
out.
happened?
We got to announce them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It sounded like there was a big problem with the prompts.
No,
we gotta
no.
talk about the prompts.
Well, we just have to talk about them because we haven't talked about them. We have December prompts up on the website. If you haven't seen them, please submit.
And as I recall, those prompts are: tell me about the time you had priapus.
Nope. Tell us about your craziest snow day memory.
Okay, craziest snow day memory. Great. Good.
Tell us about a nightmare holiday experience.
Nightmare holiday experience. There were some good examples. A menorah catching the house on fire.
Yeah.
Right? We want to include Jewish folks, Christian folks, all
Everyone.
celebrators of holidays.
Everyone. There was a This American Life from a long time ago.
Okay.
That was so good, and it was about holiday stories, bad ones, kind of traumatic ones. And there was one about this family of now adults who basically have like a bunch of trauma around Christmas because their parents were so into it.
Okay.
And like Santa and reindeer, and they like hired reindeer to kind of
to walk on the roof.
they just now have these insane trust issues.
Okay.
Because they'd be like, is this real? And they'd be like, yes. And then there'd
They were
be
deceived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, if you guys have anything like that, please share.
Yeah, that would be tasty.
Yeah. Okay, so I found my fact that I lost.
Oh, great.
Which is hyenas are 180 pounds and mastiffs are 140. It says the spotted hyena, the female is 98 to 140, and it says the male is 89 to 120.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got that way wrong. I thought for sure they were 180 pounds.
Maybe there's been some.
But it's a matriarchy. That doesn't surprise me that the women are taller
Yeah.
or bigger.
It's all about science.
And they have that clitoris that mimics a penis. They thought forever, biologists thought they were looking at males, and then they discovered that.
And then mastiffs, female 120 to 170.
Oh, wow.
Male 160 to 230.
Oh, 230. I want to see a 230 mastiff.
I'm scared of that. Okay, the hominin who discovered fire.
Yeah, hominid.
Well, I put that and then it corrected to hominin. I put hominid.
Yeah, a hominid is a bipedal great ape. That's us.
Right.
Maybe hominin is plural of hominid.
Because I typed that in and then
My whole life could be based on a lie if it's not hominid.
I mean, I feel like you would know, but
I should. That's what I'm saying. I gotta turn in my degree.
No.
I got this wrong.
I just felt weird because I put that in and then it seemed like I was wrong.
Okay.
But maybe, who knows?
Google knows everything. Rob, what are you seeing?
Hominid?
Yeah, hominid.
I'm seeing hominid as a word.
What's the definition?
I don't know why.
Hominid sounds like a literary term, like onomatopoeia, synonym, homonym.
HOMINID, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a primate of a family that includes humans and their fossil ancestors.
Maybe it's both because this also, if you type in hominid versus hominin, it says hominin is a term given to humans and all of our extinct bipedal ancestors. Maybe it's both.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
exciting. As long as I'm not wrong, I don't mind.
This says hominin is a term given to humans and all of our extinct bipedal ancestors, those ancestors who walked upright on 2 feet. Hominid is the term given to all modern and extinct great apes, including humans, chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, and all their immediate ancestors, which would include those people.
I wouldn't say a chimpanzee's a hominid. For sure, I want to.
Really?
That's interesting. Anyways, TBD.
Okay, well, it says Homo erectus.
Yeah, now we're talking erectus.
Homo erectus
Yeah.
is what they think likely invention of fire. Or had control of fire.
I guess they didn't invent fire. Lightning did.
Yeah, they didn't invent it, but they got control of it.
They sure did. a meaningful and profound way.
Yeah.
It's so cool we can control fire.
It is. Ever since we talked to Yuval, whenever I see fire, I do think of that when how he said we're programmed to be attracted to it.
Yes, instead of running from it.
Yeah, and it's true because I'm scared of everything, but I am scared of things catching on fire, but I love a fireplace and a fire pit. Oh, you asked him to identify the Achilles in our thinking, and that reminded me of Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie's Achilles.
Yeah, we already mentioned that,
We
right?
mentioned it.
On Lane, maybe?
Yeah, we mentioned it.
I'm putting together, this might excite you or not.
What?
This morning, I spearheaded a group workout. Charlie, Perfect 10 Charlie, Huberman, Lane Norton, and I at Charlie's gym.
Great.
Because Lane's going to be in town at the end of November.
Oh, that's so nice. Is he gonna be so upset because of his leg?
No, he'll just
Jerk off.
he'll just spray all over us. Yeah, like a cuck, like we just talked
Oh,
about.
yeah,
It'll be
exactly.
sweet too.
Oh my God.
No, he'll bench press 1 million pounds.
It'll be even more impressive.
Yeah, he'll probably do some squats with no Achilles.
Crazy.
One-legged squats with crutches.
Oh man. Well, that would be very fun.
Yeah. Maybe you want to stand in the corner. I don't know.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
I don't think I'd be standing.
Okay. You be sitting?
I-
laying on the
Like a stool or
laying
something.
in-
Yeah, I can't. Standing isn't ideal.
to masturbate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. As a man, some men are very much into standing while masturbating. I'm not, but once in a while I'll wheel it out like something special.
Huh.
Like, oh, let's try something new today.
That is interesting because I feel like in movies and stuff, they do often depict it standing.
But there are men who, in their bedroom, given the option of sitting on their bed or lying on their bed, will stand erect, Homo erectus. And it appears from the Falwell doc that Jerry Jr. was, in fact, standing
He was in the
while
corner.
pleasing himself.
Yeah.
Most people in movies that are masturbating not supposed to be masturbating, so they need like a quick getaway.
Oh, that's an interesting thought.
Although in White Lotus, Ding Ding Ding, first episode or second episode,
He's laying in the bed.
he is laying in the bed.
Sure.
And he's not supposed to. So he jumps.
Yeah,
he
he's
jumps
erect.
up and he's erect. I really liked that scene. This podcast, we could just make it about going over
Rewatch.
White Lotus.
Yeah, that would be great.
There are podcasts like that.
You like that scene?
Yeah, because she comes in and she's not angry that he was masturbating. She was like, what's this about?
Right.
She's just annoyed he didn't wait for her, but she's not mad at him for watching porn.
Right.
I liked that.
Yeah, that she wasn't threatened by it. Yeah.
Or just that it wasn't this depiction of this woman who hates that when their husband watches porn or
Well, what's funny too is like I'm sure that Kristen would have no issue walking in and finding me jerking off, but I don't want anyone to walk in.
well, of course, I don't think
jerking
anyone
off.
wants.
Like it does elicit this kind of just knee-jerk reaction of caught, embarrassed,
Yes,
primal.
Yeah, it's very vulnerable.
Yes, and it's just you've been caught pleasing yourself. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah. Now, if you sign up for it, that's a blast between two folks. Let's do this in front of each other. Let's get Jerry in here. Let's get the whole congregation, and let's all do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Well, I love you, and I apologize to Yuval a little bit.
Well,
He's a very high caliber thinker in our society, and he got really drug in the mud on whether or not you should lay down or stand up.
well,
Homo
this is
erectus
what we
style.
do.
Yeah.
The interview itself was pretty professional.
Yeah. We kept it on the rails when it counted. I love you.
Love you.